are live. Oh my goodness. We have finally made it.
What's
We
up?
finally
What's
made
up?
it. Yes. Oh
Hey,
my God.
hey, hey, hey. We don't own none of these rights, Facebook. We don't own none of these rights, YouTube.
Yes.
Welcome. Come on in.
Yes. Come on in, everybody. It is finally the day we have been talking about for so long.
It's the day, baby.
It's the
It's the day.
yes. What can we
Listen,
say?
hello, folks. My name is T. Pearson Hall. I am one of your hosts tonight, along with my co-host.
That's right. I'm Kia G. You guys
About to
might
say
have
you gonna tell
remembered
them who
me.
you are?
Let's get into it. Don't be disrespectful. Y'all see what I have to deal with? Welcome everybody to our first annual day of reflection and remembrance. And I am your co-host, Kia G. I'm gonna be here with you and T and all of these amazing remembrance ambassadors, right? So this is a special day. It's a reason why we chose today
Mm-hmm.
of all days.
Talk to
Because
him.
guys,
Why we choose today, babe?
yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but today is actually National Grief Awareness Day. Go
Mm-hmm.
figure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a day where we reflect on individuals that were dear to us, that we've lost, that have crossed over. And this is the day where we don't have to be shunned. We don't have to be shy about how we feel about it. So
Mm-hmm.
today we're going to give a whole bunch of amazing, we call them remembrance ambassadors, a platform to share how they've been processing through their loss. Yeah, this is going to be
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I definitely am.
And listen, before we can even get into any of that, we want to make sure that folks know that today is a safe conversation. To say is a conversation where we are able to heal collectively, right?
Yes.
Where we're able to ground ourselves with peace. We're going to talk
National
about,
Grief Awareness
oh,
Day. I
who
am
was talking?
Oh, she just want to pop on. Well, I guess
That's
that
that.
means
That's that
it's time to
surprise.
Kenyatta
That's
Gray, the
that's that
founder and the
surprise. So
director
here we
of
are,
The
folks.
Heart of Miss
We're going to
B
let you
Inc. The
see.
Heart of Miss B Inc. is named after my mother, Beverly E. Carroll, whom I affectionately referred to as Miss B, and she loved that. My mom transitioned on October 21st, 2018.
it seems to be dragging a little bit. Jeez. Forgive us guys. This is
Yeah, I don't
live
like the drag.
and these things happen when we're live. This is our founder, Kenyatta Gray, who is the founder of
That's okay. We're gonna run it back. Wait a
The
second.
Heart of Miss B. And so she's recorded something
And we're going to
amazing.
make sure we do it appropriately.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. And that's okay, T. It's live, so these things happen. But we want to play an amazing, beautiful message that she recorded
Welcome
just
to the
for you
first
guys.
annual day of reflection and remembrance in honor of National Grief Awareness Day. I am Kenyatta Gray, the founder and the director of The Heart of Miss B Inc. The Heart of Miss B Inc. is named after my mother, Beverly E. Carroll, whom I affectionately referred to as Miss B, and she loved that. My mom transitioned on October 21st, 2018. I didn't get that late night tragic phone call that my mother had passed away, as I had spent the entire 2 weeks at the hospital by her side. I had the best mother a daughter could ask for. My mother was a church leader, a singer, a youth mentor. She held many jobs over her lifetime, but her true love was working for the ARC in Southeast DC. There, she created youth programs and curriculums that are still used to this day, and she worked alongside the founders of the ARC for many years. She was so beloved by the ARC and the community in general that they planted the first ever memorial tree on the grounds of the ARC. After losing my mom, my life had changed as I once knew it. I was instantly thrust into severe mental health issues and the accompanying grief. Not only was I grieving for the time spent with my mom, I was grieving for the moments that we will never have. I had to find a way to function in my new normal. I committed to living out the rest of my natural life honoring Miss B. One of the first things I did within a year of losing my mom was write and release a memoir. I followed that up with a collection of grief journals. Under the Heart of Miss B, we have a program where we offer free grief journals to women in the DMV who qualify. There are many reasons why people don't use grief journals. Our culture in general just doesn't value going through the grief process in a healthy way. So I have learned the feelings of grief will remain forever, but they will become less intense over time. Over the next hour, you will have the opportunity to be part of a community who look like you, who feel like you, and who understand the complicated emotions that you are feeling. Our 7 specially selected Remembrance ambassadors will share their stories about their loved ones and how they have coped with their grief. You will hear from a spiritual leader who will offer words of encouragement. You will hear a heart touching selection from a popular DMV recording artist who's also my late mother's goddaughter. You will receive helpful information on the topic of grief and ways to cope with grief from our esteemed and highly sought after mental health therapist. Our gracious host, T. Pearson, will guide this event with the utmost sensitivity, yet she will infuse her brand of humor to lighten the mood at times. So sit back, relax, reflect on your loss, and enjoy our program on National Grief Awareness Day.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That was very, very heartfelt. Thank you so much, Kenyatta. Thank you so much. Tia, you muted? Because I just see your head shaking. Thank you. I just see your head shaking. Okay. So I think T is froze. But thank you so much for taking the time, Kenyatta, to share that very, very heartfelt message with all of us. Um, T, are you okay over there? Can you hear us? You're muted. You're muted. We can't hear you. Okay. So while we wait for T to come back into the studio, we are going to move along in our program. And I am actually one of the board members for the Heart of Miss B. I was so honored when Kenyatta actually approached me about that board position. And so, one thing that I wanted to do in honor of my grandmother passed away in 2014, and my mom passed away in 2019. And ironic enough, my grandmother passed away in 2014, the day before my birthday. So on my birthday, May 15th, I was in the funeral home planning my grandmother, who was my nanny and was just so important in my life. So I wanted to share how that impacted me. And so I have a free expression. I call it free expression. Some might call it a poem. But I have a free expression that I'd like to share with you guys this evening, and it's called longing. As I look out at the soft amber sky, I see remnants of you scattered throughout this realm and the next. You were once here, unfragmented and thriving. But now I struggle within the faintness, trying to find mere atoms of you to ease the ache and emptiness that I feel with every breath that I take. I just need one more embrace in the refuge of your arms. I just need one more of those smiles that made me feel like the world was a little bit easier for me. You yearn to be free. You yearn to rest. So I unselfishly let you go, not knowing if I'll ever be able to survive and endure this hollow space called life. But just as I start to sink deeper in the darkness of my despair, I feel a warm light hit my tear soaked cheeks, and I can feel your presence catching every tear that falls. I feel soothed. I feel comforted for the first time in so long. There's a connection that is beyond understanding. And so finally, I feel like I can exhale, realizing that for every moment I live, you live. And for every moment that I smile, I feel you smiling too. I realize that I am and always will be a part of who you are and a part of who you were. And I rest now knowing that your spiritual legacy will always go on in me. And I thank you so much this evening. Thank you so much. I thought about how I felt so unbalanced when I lost my grandmother first, because my grandmother lived with me. She helped me rear my children. I was in school, finishing college, and I never have to worry about rushing home. But I remember being so desperate to connect with her that I
Mhm.
was pulling at everything that I could pull at that would remind me of her. So rather it be her necklace, which I wore, and I've had to piece back together. Tia had to help me piece this necklace back together. And any of my friends watching know this heart she actually gave me to wear during an interview for a job. And it had
Mhm.
three hearts and three children, which at the time I only had two children. And it was funny that she must have known because a year after she died, I found I was pregnant with William. And so I ended up with three kids. But anything that reminded me of her brought me a little bit of comfort. But
Yeah.
I felt so unbalanced, and the only way that I could feel a little bit more balanced is if I were to wear her items and to just try to grab at these, you know, fragments of her. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
So I was having, I don't know what StreamYard is doing today. So because this is a live show, let me be transparent.
Please do.
Uh, there is a lot going on. And so
Yeah,
as you can see, I'm coming back in from my phone because I thought it was just maybe my computer, but it's StreamYard. And so I had several notifications that just came up that said, long story short, we're not streaming in a lot of the destinations that we were supposed to stream into. So, right now, if you are watching, the folks that are backstage, push people over to, I think the only two that may be streaming live is YouTube as well as I think maybe Candid Combo. So if someone is there, or if you're watching on Facebook, let us know because I can't show it. I don't see it anywhere. Um, so please let me know if you are watching it somewhere else. The great thing, Miss Gray, is that it is recording for us, so we will be able to stream it live or stream it back again at another time. So we're going to continue with the conversation. This is a live show. Things happen. And so I'll definitely apologize on behalf of StreamYard. Okay. And Key, I just wanted to say thank you for your beautiful poem. Right. Thank you for sharing. So
Thank you.
transparent. Peace.
Free
So many trans.
expression, free expression.
Huh?
I said it's
What you
free
say?
expression. It's a
Free
free
expression.
expression.
That's what you was writing in the bed the other day. You ain't want me to see.
No, actually, I was piecing together something else. But
Oh,
anyway,
don't worry about it. Okay, we'll talk about it later. We talk about it later. All right. So listen, we have our wonderful Reverend who's going to come and bless us with a wonderful prayer. So if everyone can help us welcome to the stage our wonderful Reverend,
yes.
Reverend Core. How are you, sir?
I am well. I am well. How about yourself?
We are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, I love the poem. It was wonderful. And as you talked about your grandmother, I thought about mine. My grandma passed in 92.
Mm,
I don't let a day almost go by now when I think about the things that she instilled in us. You know, my cousins, my
Yeah.
sister. And I really actually, for the latter generations in my family, I really feel sorry that they didn't get a chance to interact with her because she was born in 1902 and she brought so much heritage from the 1800s, right?
mm.
And passed it down to us so that we had something to be proud about our name and about who we really are. And so I applaud you for talking about your grandma and how she made an impact on you.
Thank you, Reverend. That means so much coming from you. Thank you.
Yes, and ditto.
Thank
Reverend Core, before you bless us with a wonderful prayer to kind of get the energy and things and synchronize, right, today,
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why is today important for you? Why was it important for you to join us today for this conversation?
You know, I have to go back to when I was asked to join the board and knowing the struggle of grief. I think a lot of times people look at us ministers as we stand there and we begin to give people or proclaim the eulogy, the love of God, and we have to go over um, time and time. When you start burying and eulogizing your family, the whole dynamics change. And I think the last eulogy I did, which was my uncle, and I've known him, you know, all my life. And he was in Newark, New Jersey. And I never forget when they lowered the casket to the ground. I looked down and everybody had walked away. And I stood over there and I said, Uncle, you said that you would never leave Newark and you held your
Mm,
word.
mm,
I don't know what I'm going to do without you, but I'm going to carry you in my heart. And then that just made me reflect over all of our ancestors that has passed. And I think the way that I get through it from losing those that were really instrumental in my growth and growing up as a child and now going into adulthood, I have to carry them in my heart and carry them in the way that they've taught me. And my reason for coming is because I want people to understand, despite of me standing here and proclaiming God's glory and his mercy, I'm still human too, and I grieve also.
That's right.
I just
amen to that.
learn how to pick it up and walk through it.
Yeah.
And so that's my reason for being here because
I don't think I've ever heard a bishop, a reverend, anyone in your position actually acknowledge their
yeah,
own grief. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm 46. I like to think I lived a little bit, and I have to say what you just said, but it's just so profound to me. It's so transparent. It's so real.
yes.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for being that.
you're welcome. And I'll say this last thing. I have a cousin that actually, he's a pastor with two churches in the Carolina. And when we eulogized his sister, was the first time I really saw him broke down.
Mm,
To watch him eulogize our family. And I just, how do you stand there? And that was before I got called into the ministry. And as I got called into the ministry, I had to stand there. I've eulogized so many people that I grew up with, people that I look to,
yeah.
role models and things of that nature. But I tell you, if you're real about it, I've stood in the pulpit and cried,
Oh,
literally just cried, and couldn't do nothing but stand there for a minute and get myself together. So my reason for really saying why I'm here today is I want people to understand grief is real, the pain is real,
yeah.
but you have to find somewhere to talk it out, walk it out, give it to someone that can help you, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, right.
understand that there's so many people out here that would just embrace you and bring you in, because grief is real. And we people who put on this cloth and proclaim the glory of God, we hurt
Mm,
too.
that's right. That's powerful. That's enough said. That's that. Listen, that's it right there. That's like drop mic.
Yeah.
Yes, and folks need to hear that
Yes.
because I feel like when folks go to church, I think they see you guys as like these magicians that can magically make everything go away for them,
Yeah.
and I understand.
Or less than human, less than
Yes,
human. We look at the pastoral staff as superheroes. Y'all don't deal with nothing,
Exactly.
right?
And it's and believe me, it's far from that. I have so many moments, and when I'm seeing my family go through, I get on my knees, I cry out to God, and my mom had been sick at one point, and I was like, God, not like this,
yeah,
not like
Yeah.
this, So we do, and if they keep it real, they'll tell you, and that's why I'm here. I like to keep it real from the pulpit. I want people to know that I am a real guy.
Yeah.
Real, I bleed just like you do. The only difference is God has elevated me to help guide my brothers and sisters, his people. That is it.
that's right.
Yes. And I'm loving your purple shirt, Pastor.
All
Thank
right,
you, Reverend.
man.
I know. He said, "Listen, I can still be
I,
fashionable
Yes.
and preach the word."
So if you could lead us in a wonderful word of prayer,
okay.
to kind of get us going, because I don't know about nobody else, but I could use a prayer or four
Amen.
just,
Yeah,
in this moment.
the enemy is working, trying to drag
Yeah.
our stream yard. The rehearsal was just fine, and we're gonna
Yes,
be
it
fine
was.
this evening.
Yes,
And I
yes.
don't know if y'all can see, but these lights are flickering
Wow.
above my table right now. So I don't
Woo!
know what's going on, but we're gonna let God, or we're gonna let God do what He's gonna do today. So I got my cell phone and my computer, and we're gonna be bouncing between. But what all of the show must go on, because
Absolutely.
I know that these 7 ambassadors are going to speak some life into people,
Amen.
and I'm excited about that. So, Reverend, if you will, please.
Amen. Amen. Let us look to the Father. Our Father, gracious God, we call on heaven now through the access door of Jesus the Christ. Father, we thank you that we can come here now and that we can fellowship with you, oh God. We thank you now that you have selected us to help our brothers and sisters that who may have lost a loved one through violence or through they just time down. Father, we know you potentiator of life, and we recognize that you and you alone are the only one that can be the access door to give us the healing that we need. You use these vessels now, God, in a mighty way. And I ask that everyone that's under the sound of my voice, Father, that you touch them in a mighty way that will give them what they need from you, oh God, that will help them get through this challenging time that they face in their life, and that they have enough love in their heart to reach out to someone that can listen to them and they can tell their story, God, so that they can go on into the things that you've called them to do, oh God. That there's no mistake under the earth and no mistake under heaven right now, God. So we thank you right now in advance for the people that are here, for the people that are joining. We praise you right now in advance for all that you will do tonight and therefore moving forward. Lord, we love you. We praise you and we grace your presence into this place. Let your glory fill the atmosphere. We thank you right now in Jesus' mighty name. Let every heart say amen.
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 And
Amen.
all
Right.
right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I felt that all in my spirit. I don't know about nobody else,
Amen.
but I felt it in mine. And Pastor, before you go, I want to talk about 4 words, right,
Okay.
that I came up with as we were kind of talking about this show today.
Okay.
The first one is grief, right?
Mhm.
Because I felt like we need to do some words to know,
Okay.
right? Some words to know for this broadcast, and one of them is grief,
Okay.
right? And the definition for that was encompasses all of the emotions around a loss, also known as bereavement, right? The
Amen.
other one, the second one is mourning. It's
Mm,
defined as the external expression of pain. So
amen.
when I was on live on the way to my location here, I was
Mm.
crying. And I
Mm,
thought about these words when I was on the live and I told them, I'm mourning,
amen.
right? That's my cup was full and I had to let it out.
Amen.
Yeah.
But also, we're going to talk about some healing.
Yes.
We're going to
Yeah.
talk about healing, and that's the
Yeah.
process of making or
Yeah.
becoming sound or healthy
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? And the
Yes.
last one, I have it tattooed on my arm. Resiliency.
Oh my. Oh my.
Resiliency. This is our goal that at the end of this conversation and the continued conversations, that
Yeah.
people will become resilient.
I love.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
is the ability to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. And what we know is that grief, right, is one of the catalysts for that emotion.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, Pastor, Reverend, we thank you for joining us today.
Mm.
Um, and we're going to let the folks connect with you. So don't go far.
I won't.
Going backstage, Miss Gray has definitely put us some Perriers and things like
All
that in the back. So you can go
Yeah, not
backstage to
regular
the
water.
VIP section.
right. Appreciate.
All right. All right. You know what I was thinking when
What's
you
that?
said resiliency? I was thinking about the first time you told me that why you used resiliency versus being strong. You
Yeah.
remember what you said?
Yeah.
I remember what you said. So I don't know if you guys ever thought about this, but T mentioned in some situation, I don't recall, but she said to be strong means that if something were to move you, you would still break. But to
Mm-hmm.
be resilient means that when you have these difficult times in your life, you don't break, but you bend.
You bend.
Flexible. I'm like,
Strong paper towels rip. Strong trash bags tear.
I was like, oh, dropping them gems. I was like,
And strong is also a mindset. You
okay.
know, I'm a disabled vet. I can't move as much as my wife can move in certain ways, right? And so, does that mean she's stronger than me, and that I'm weaker, or does she have her strengths and I have mine?
Yeah, I'm
Right
serious.
through the journey of resiliency.
Yes.
Um, I just want to put this trigger warning out here again because we're going to bring up our first remembrance ambassador. But I just want to remind folks, we want to remind folks to ground yourself,
Yes.
protect your peace throughout this whole broadcast.
Please.
And we want to hear from you. So we have a lot of people watching. I see them numbers. Y'all nosy. Y'all is outside. I see
Yeah.
you. So come on in, grab a seat, and let's get the conversation going. We want to hear from you. We want to interact with you. Share this YouTube link. I see
Please.
y'all watching on YouTube. Please drop
Yes.
this link
Hello,
in Facebook
YouTube.
so that folks can see what's going on. Okay. We appreciate you. What's up? What's up? We got folks. I see y'all commenting.
And there is a slight delay between what we see here in StreamYard versus what individuals are seeing on Facebook and then on YouTube. And so if you see some amens, it's probably because they just finished listening to to the reverend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, Kid, you ready to bring on our first and I want to say resemblance so bad, but it's the remembrance
It's
ambassador. Our
a bit of
first
a tongue twister.
remembrance ambassador.
Ambassador. Yes. 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 So we are honored to have Dr. Tiffany Carter here as one of our esteemed Remembrance ambassadors. So, guys, help me welcome with a lot of hearts and a lot of love, Dr. Tiffany Carter. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dr. Carter.
Welcome.
Hi. Hi,
How are
everyone.
you?
Good evening or good morning, wherever you are.
Yeah, right. We have people watching from all these different states. That's
Hmm.
amazing.
Oh,
It's amazing. So, listen, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm
Okay, we
doing
are glad
well.
to have you here. So we are just gonna, if you don't mind, jump right on in, T. We're gonna jump right on in. So we want to start with the question that we ask everyone, of course, and that is, why is today important for you, Dr. Carter?
Mm. Let me just tell you all that today is so important because how often do you get a platform to share your loved one, the passing of your loved one and what they meant to you?
Yeah,
I honor the person who I'm going to share with you in a moment. I honor this person every day, privately, like in my home, in my mind. I carry her with me all the time. But to be here tonight with you all and to share her with you because you didn't get a chance to meet her,
yeah,
I can do that this evening. And I feel so honored. It means the world to me.
yeah, yeah. Wow, wow, wow.
And the person I'm referring to, you're like, okay, well, who is she?
Yeah. Well, if you're comfortable enough to share.
Yes, I'd love to. The she that I'm referring to is my mother. And she, I don't know if you can see her, but
Let's
she's my
see.
heart.
Let's see.
She is always,
Yeah, we can see her.
and she passed in 2007. She was
Mhm.
56 years old. She passed in 2007, 6 months after my husband and I got married. And the, the amazing part about it is that sh her even coming on this earth was a miracle because she was born with double pneumonia
Wow.
and she passed on her birthday
Wow.
in January.
Oh my.
And she passed due to complications from double pneumonia, but the double pneumonia triggered an autoimmune disease. And she had complications from the medication, prednisone, you name it. It just really
Oh,
impacted her. And she was really big about quality of life over quantity. And
yes.
she was ready. And so, like I said, the beautiful part of her transition was that she left on her birthday.
Mm.
So yeah,
Wow.
16 years ago, that's how special she is,
Yeah.
And if I can just if I can sum it up with you all, um, I am here because of her.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And no, you don't know her, but
Yeah.
she was a woman of faith,
Yeah.
and she's a Christian. I'm a Christian, and if anything, I would call her. She's a virtuous woman. Proverbs 31.
Mm.
And something I have of hers that's so special to me, you all, is her Bible.
Oh.
This Bible has been through it. Look at this. This has been
That's what
through
I say.
it.
That's one of the ones where you put the little tabs you
Yes,
put to make sure you can get back to that one.
yes,
You have a
yes.
little notations and stuff.
So she's a Proverbs 31, and she really, yes, my father helped me, but as far as like from a female perspective,
Yeah.
she really instilled a lot of core values and character building in me. And from Proverbs 31, she embodied that. And I'm not going to read the
Mm.
scripture to you. Read it at your own leisure if you believe in the word or not. I honor your space as well. Um, but in that, there's a few things about her, and that is she was a woman of dignity.
Mm.
She knew her worth
Mm.
far more than Ruby. She knew, and she made sure that I knew how valuable I am
Mm.
because she knew how valuable she was.
Yes.
And patience. She really exuded the art of patience. Like everything you want, it may not come overnight. We have to get processed. You have to get processed, and things happen over time, but you'll get to what you want to get to. Just be
Yes.
patient
Yes.
and diligent. She
Yes.
was a very diligent mom. Like she was a hard worker, and everything she touched was blessed, honestly.
Mm.
And
Mm.
she was so generous. I mean, a heart of
Mm.
gold. Anything that someone needed, she would help. She taught my brother and I how to be givers,
Mm.
not takers,
That's right.
which
That's
is a
right.
blessing and a curse. Let me tell you, because
Yeah,
when people
right.
help you, you're not,
Yes.
it's like you're not used to it.
You said that's a double-edged sword. Definitely. I can
Yes,
relate
not
to
a
that.
curse, double-edged sword. Yes, and and she had courage. She was so
Yeah.
courageous.
I see that in you a lot, and I've just met you the other day.
No,
And I see so much of that in you
do you?
already. It really resonates. I really believe that you don't have to know someone to be able to feel something from them.
Mm,
I feel like everyone has a different type of energy and synergy that's infectious, and definitely you radiate that. And when I think about you having your mom's Bible, it's ironic that I didn't even know you were going to bring that on. But when I wrote my free expression, I talked about leaving a legacy,
I
and
heard
then
that.
something came over me, Dr. Carter, and I said, "Oh, no, 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 no. They left a spiritual legacy." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh no."
I got that. I caught that.
I was like, because they don't understand that that's something higher. That's something that is like they are in the atmosphere,
Yes. Yes.
right? And it's and
Yes.
they shift things because they are a part of the atmosphere.
Yes.
Just tell the
That,
background I
you
come with.
get it. You get it. And then,
It's okay.
in this being a person who was wise, wisdom, like she was so wise, and I'm not going to keep you all because I know we have so many other ambassadors, but she was so wise, you all, and I'm going to forgive me. But
Yeah,
sometimes I wouldn't pray, you all, because like she was the closest person
yeah,
to God to me. Like if I needed an answer, I would say, Mom, Mom, and she would know exactly what to say, but
yeah,
she'd give me wise counsel. And
yeah,
so, and she was so relatable. You didn't have to know her; like she could just relate to
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And last but not least, she was devoted. She was so
yeah,
devoted to my dad, my
yeah,
brother, and myself as a
yeah,
wife and a mother. And like I said, she taught me a lot of who I am.
yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's fun because what's interesting is the next question was, what do you want the world to know most about your loved one? But I feel like I mean, unless there's something else you want to add, I feel like you've really captured that.
She was just I think
Yeah.
everyone believes and knows that the person that they've lost is special,
Yeah.
and that's what she was. She's
Yeah.
special. She still is special,
Yeah.
and I am her legacy, and so are our children. And so
Yeah.
they say love endureth forever. Love
Yeah.
endureth forever, and that's what she's taught. She's taught me, and
Yeah.
that's what she embodied as well.
So the two most effective coping mechanisms, Dr. Carter. No
Mm.
pressure because you're a doctor. No pressure.
No.
Look, no pressure. What strategies, like what has helped you navigate through this level of grief? Because I know losing my mom, it almost feels like it's a permanent void,
Mm.
but then every day is different and feels different and looks different. So anything you can share with us would be really
You
helpful.
all, being that it's been 16 years ago, whew, when I look back initially, what helped me get through was I just let myself mourn.
Mm,
I kind of I went into a secluded place, just God and I, and my
mm,
husband, because I was married at the time. But I just went to be, and I just let myself mourn and just cry out
yeah.
and cry. And sometimes, look, I still do it because that's part of the healing.
Mm,
I just let it be. I don't control it.
yeah. So allow yourself time to mourn
Yes, and
and let the tears
heal.
flow.
Yeah, and heal. And part of that is letting yourself be, is then finding what works for you. Like what is it that will help you to move on? What do
Mm,
you need to help move on? Because when I lost my mom, she was my heart.
mm,
I thought my heart was ripped out of my chest. Like
yeah.
I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't want to go on.
Yeah. Mm,
So ironically, you see, I'm Dr. Carter, and I'm also a coach, you all. So
all right.
coaching and counseling helped me.
Okay. Okay. That helped you.
And yeah, letting in the right people, having that professional assistance, but also letting the right people in my inner circle to
Yeah.
help me.
Oh, love it. Love it. Dr. Carter, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time. Thank you for your dedication. Um, thank you for your transparency. Listen, Mama, you see what can we, would you mind saying her name or nickname for us this evening?
For my mom, you said?
Yes.
My mom, her nickname, Sweetness.
Sweet.
Ooh,
I live for
sweetness.
sweetness.
Sweetness. Well, listen, sweetness. You see what you have reared. You see what you have. Phenomenal. Thank
Hmm.
You.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Hey, Dr. Carter, you did that. Where you go?
Yeah.
Don't don't be trying to cut your camera off. I'm back. Listen, because my co-host is so much better with with asking the questions, and so I'm just gonna be jumping in when I feel like I got something to say.
I didn't say I was better.
Um,
Actually, just but
and I just want to honor you and thank you for sharing your mom with us.
no.
And so, as Miss Nikki said in the comments, we are meeting your mom through you.
Ooh.
Special.
Mm,
She said, we're meeting your mom through you. So
mm.
special. I also want to capture that you said counseling is helpful. And also, we got to have the right people in our
I love
circle.
that
That is
energy from your
so profound when we talk about support and what that looks like for people. So, thank you, thank you, thank you again just for sharing your mom with us and sharing your journey with us as well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send you backstage with the Reverend. Hopefully he saved you some lobsters and stuff. So if not, just let me know and we'll get you together.
I
All
hope so.
right.
Okay.
All right. And
Man, Kia, that was amazing,
oh,
man.
very inspiring. Very inspiring.
Very, very inspiring. So
Listen,
listen, I want to do a check-in real quick. I
yes,
want to do a check-in
let
with
us
folks and to first the people that's just joining because we had technical difficulties, so we apologize.
so welcome.
But the folks that have found us on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. The folks that's gonna watch this playback because we're gonna post the video for you to be able to watch and to heal with us. So welcome to the conversation.
Yes, well,
Also, trigger warning. Please ground yourself and protect your peace throughout this conversation of grief and healing tonight. If
yeah.
you need some mental health support, we have some people in the audience. We have some people that are here that can work with you and to help with you. And so we're asking all the clinicians to please drop your information.
Mm-hmm.
Drop your information, clinicians, in the comments so that people can connect with you if you are accepting new patients. We want to know your website. We want to know your IG.
Yeah.
Drop it in the comments for us. Also, clinicians, listen, if you want to partner with the Heart of Miss B, send an email to Kenyatta. Go to the website, honoringmissb.org. You can also link on Instagram at the Heart of Miss B
Yes.
because we want to partner with you through all of these different grief walks. And we know that grief covers many dynamics and many different demographics and all of that stuff. So we definitely want to make sure that we are tapped in. Amazing stuff. Alexia says, this is amazing. I'm enjoying the space truly. And she's one of our ambassadors.
Our
Stay
remembrance
tuned.
ambassadors commenting.
Yeah, listen,
So that's
y'all gonna
right.
hear from Alexia soon.
She's a pro. She's a pro.
MJ, what's up with you? We appreciate you tuning in with us.
Hey,
So,
MJ.
kid, listen, we have another ambassador to bring up.
We do. We
We
do.
we we do. And so, can you help me bring up our next guest? And I'm gonna let you take the reign. I'm gonna go on backstage and check to make sure they ain't eat everything.
Listen, this woman right here is I'm gonna call her a little firecracker. This is our little firecracker. But we are honored to have Miss Catherine Austin as one of our dynamic remembrance ambassadors. Please help us welcome my fire. I call it my firecracker. Miss Catherine Austin. Thank you so much for joining us. Drop some love, some yellow hearts, guys, for Miss Catherine who is here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much. And first, I want to say I agree with a lot of things that Dr. Carter said about
Yeah.
just everything that she said.
Yeah.
But I have these special days in my life, and I call them highlight days. And like an example would
Mm.
be
Hmm.
having my children, or if they got a special award. And I want to
Yeah.
say this is one of the highlight days of my life to be able to be asked to join this and to talk about this and grief and how much I miss my mother. And I
Yes.
feel like every day I feel like I'm her legacy with my two sons that are going to help not
That's
just for my
right. That's right.
mother. We're not just my mother's legacy, but I don't want to forget my father either. And
Yeah.
he was a doctor in Memphis, Tennessee, and he was one of the nicest people also. And he helped
Wow.
others. And like Dr. Carter said, my mother and father taught their children to be givers, not takers.
That's
And that's
right.
just
That's
how we were raised. So,
so. Why is today important to you, Catherine?
well, I made a few notes. So I'm kind of looking at them.
And that's
One of the
absolutely okay.
one of the important things is that my grief began before my mother died because I was a victim of financial exploitation of the elderly, sibling alienation,
Mm,
and my family and I, my sons, we were blocked from talking to and seeing my mother.
mm.
And so I
Wow.
was sad. I lived many nights like not knowing if she lived and made it through the night because there wasn't anyone to tell me. And so that's just the grief began even before my mother died. Um, and so I was also going to say, be careful who you leave in charge of you, that so that no one can separate you from a parent that you
Yeah.
want to be with and talk to and help and take cookies and flowers and things like that. So I
Mm,
just try every day to, that's how I get through my days, is to make her proud of me. And I think, what would she do? Because I also didn't go left or right without asking her. She was my world. We might disagree on a few things, but
right.
she was
Right.
pretty much, I didn't do anything without telling her.
What should the world remember? What sticks out most to you about your loved ones? What do you want the world? What do you want us to know about her?
Well, that she was one of the most fair and special people, and she helped others. And that if she couldn't trust her own children, no one can. You might think you can, but you can't. And
Wow.
mainly just that I feel sad for how the end of her life was.
Mm.
That she died on October 14th, 2016, which was 5 days before my 60th birthday.
Oh wow.
So I guess I don't know, just that she
Yeah.
was nice and helped others. And
And listen, that's enough. I'm so sorry. First of all, many people are saying they're sorry about your loss. They're really sorry. Catherine, I want to ask you a really specific question and definitely take a couple minutes. I don't want any ambassadors to feel like they have to answer right away. Please take a couple minutes because this is heavy stuff that we are talking about right now that we're processing through.
And before
So,
we get to that next question, Kia, if I can jump in, I just want to say, Catherine, I'm proud of you.
yes,
thank
I just
you.
want to tell you, I was backstage. I had to run back up here to the camera because I was backstage eating. But I wanted to tell you that I know your mom is super proud of you, right? Because you are stepping out of your comfort box to share her with us. And so for that, we're thankful and we honor you and her today. So I just wanted to jump in and say that to you. But we got one more question for you. We
Okay.
got one more question for
yeah,
you. So many people struggle with the idea of moving on, right?
yeah,
After a major loss or any loss. And
yeah.
so, how do you balance, or how did you create balance when with your mom's memory, but still move forward with your life? How did you do that? Or how do you do that? Can you share that with us?
Well, my mom died, as I just said, in 2016, and somehow I found Kenyatta on Instagram, and her mom died in 2018. And I never heard people talking about how much they missed their mother, so it was really important for me to meet Kenyatta. And on the question about the moving on, people would tell me, you've just got to move on. You've just got to move on. And I saw another person on Instagram she owns a resort, and her husband was killed in a skiing accident in February, I think, 2016. And I guess people were telling her to move on.
Mm,
And she taught me that you don't move on, you live on.
mm,
And I just thought that was so good because I think someone else talked about this on the grief thing. Like, they say they're sorry like 5 days after someone dies, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah, that's very
And
real.
that's what everybody wants to tell everybody is you just have to move on.
Yeah.
And you don't really move on. You just have to live on. And
Yes.
so I
Love that.
try to keep my garden going and my
Oh,
plants and
nice.
trees and try to decorate things at my house that we talked about that we were going to do together. So
Yeah.
I just try to
I
do
love
things
that.
to pretend like she's maybe in the next room and what would she do and
Yeah.
how would we do this together?
I love it.
Amen.
You dropped some gems, didn't you though? You really dropped some amazing gems. And I was
Well,
waiting
not
for you.
really, not really. I'm
Oh,
just
but your
trying
mom
to
is
get,
But you did. But you
I just
did.
try to get through each day too, like everybody else.
listen, and that's all right. That's all right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your mom's memories and the way that you are coping with this loss. Thank
Yeah.
you for the
Do you all want me to get out and let Kenyatta come in for the rest because my son might come over and there's a big storm and I'm
okay.
worried.
Oh, yes. If your storm is coming, please go be safe. Please
I
Yeah.
go
mean,
be
I'm
safe.
just saying that but also if y'all want to do this every year, I'm up for that too.
Oh, we are doing
Hey,
it.
well,
So
we heard it.
mention that it may look different each year, but we definitely are always going to celebrate National Grief Awareness Day. We
Well,
always will.
if you want
Yes.
me now that I've learned, I had to have my husband help me um, learn how to get onto this, and I would have a picture of my mother, but I don't have a printer, so
That's
maybe
okay. Next year we're gonna get you, and before next year, we can get you a picture of your mom printed out in color for you to
Yeah,
put up on your wall somewhere.
yeah.
I'm
Kia and
traveling
I.
around. I have pictures, but I'm just traveling around right now, so I don't have the printer.
Oh,
But
I'm about to say
no,
we
I
can
mean
get you
we
together.
have one, just not here. But
Okay. Well, we
Okay.
I
we we know that she's still there with you. We could feel her. And I want you to read this comment that's here from Miss Nikki. She says, I needed to hear that. I need to live on. So you have touched someone already, right? And just you sharing your grief journey with us. And so for that, we thank you. We
well, I
thank
think it
you.
takes the pressure off of the moving on because how can you? So we
Yeah.
just live on and do the best we can and try to make the. I think making them
Mm.
proud is the most important thing.
Yes. I needed to
Okay,
hear that
Kenyatta,
myself.
you come and enjoy this because this is your day, and I loved your little video at the beginning, and I want a copy of that too.
All right, we got you.
All right. We got
Catherine said
the
she want the whole VIP
whole
package. We
thing. Thank
got
you
you.
so much for joining us,
Thank you,
Okay,
Catherine.
Catherine.
thank
We'll see you later
you.
on.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Right.
everybody.
I don't know about you, T, but I feel a sense of like I feel renewed a little bit. Just I feel like we're
Man,
I guess uplifted. I feel very uplifted by people's stories and all that they're sharing about their loss and their loved one. Like
yes.
it's amazing.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Listen, I want to bring up our next ambassador.
I know.
This is one of our homegirls.
It is. And it
And
was like I was so nervous to ask her, because she has so much going on.
yeah.
But this Carmelina is a force to be reckoned with. And she's so modest. When you meet this feisty Italian,
Ah,
you would
she
not
said she backstage shaking her head. She said, "Don't do that to her backstage."
but literally it's like she's so modest. Like you ever
Yeah,
meet somebody, they have so much going on, so many degrees, so
yeah,
many, so much, but then you never know it because they're just so humble. She to
yeah,
me is the epitome of giving and humility. And
yeah.
I tell you, I am so, so grateful that we have Carmelina here as one of our amazing Remembrance ambassadors. Help me welcome my dear friend Carmelina, also known as Carm.
Carm, what's up, Carm?
Hi, Carm.
Hey, how are you?
Listen, social
Thank,
worker extraordinaire, caregiver.
thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm gonna let you sit on the couch with Gail Jr. I'm gonna go backstage again to check
Not
out
the
some
Gail
food.
Jr.
Safe
I'll be
zone.
back in a little bit.
Okay.
Listen, Carm,
Yes.
you took time out your schedule to join us. And so I have to ask you, why is today important to you? I have to ask you that. I'm going to give you the floor to answer that.
Yes. I'm here to talk about my nonno. My was grandfather is nonno, or nonno is grandfather in Italian. So if I say nonno, I'm referring to my grandfather. He died a year ago, and I had the pleasure of caring for him and being with him in his last minutes, of life. So I'm really happy to be here to talk about him. And I don't think my family and I talk about him enough, and that we went through caring for him, before he had passed away. Um, I live next door to them, so my grandparents, so very involved. And my grandmother calls me from time to time, talk about how much, she does miss him, or he turned the lights on, or the stove needed to be shut off, little quirky things, that
Yeah.
she still feels him and
Yeah.
very much alive. Yeah. But
How long were they married? Because I believe they were married. Was it 30 years?
oh,
Was it
57?
50? Oh, I was way off. I knew it was a really long time. I
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
I can't, I can't imagine. I think most of us don't want to imagine that reality that when you're married, you know, at some point one of you are going to be left alone. And
yeah.
so, wow,
And I
how,
think, and I think that's been a lot of it, is I haven't had a chance to. He would passed away in September of 2022. Um, but I've been helping my grandmother kind of process through it. But I'm like, oh my goodness, what
yeah,
I don't think I've had a chance to. I don't
yeah,
think it still has hit me yet. Every time I go through, go to their house, I'm waiting to hear, hey, sweetheart, but it's, he's not there.
yeah. Well, tell us what you want the world to know, because he was your everything. You look like you were a grandpa. Wait, how do we say it? How do we say grandpa in Italian?
Nonno.
No, 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 no.
Yes, there you go.
Okay,
Nonno. Yeah.
no,
Good
no.
job. There you go.
So
You learned an Italian
what
word.
what do you want the
I'm
world to
glad
know
you said
about your
that because I was backstage trying to figure out how to say no, no.
Yeah.
So
no, no?
thank you
Yeah.
for no, no. Thank you.
What do
Yes.
you want the world to know? What do you want us to know about your no no? Because he was something really, really dear to you.
Hmm. I mean, having, he immigrated here, with nothing and knowing no English, and kind of paved his way for his family. He loved his family, so dearly, and all the sacrifices, he made, looking back for us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Those sacrifices. Look at the amazing legacy that he has left.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I love how, you care for each other. I too was a caregiver when my grandmother had lung cancer. I took care of her at home on hospice. And I think you and I shared some of those
Yeah.
instances where it's like, geez, when do we find time to take care of ourselves, without feeling guilty about doing it,
And it was, and that is something I did, struggle
Yeah,
with. Yeah.
absolutely. So, I know grief often brings up a lot of emotions. And I know you, being a social work professional, you are trying to help other people while still, trying to process through what you're dealing with emotionally. So, how, I guess, how can you describe that specific moment where you felt like a profound shift in your grieving process? Like, and it's recent. So I guess maybe, I don't know if this question is premature because I know that we've just lost him just last year. Not even a whole year.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but do you feel like you're feeling like you're more at rest? Because I know some people say they were suffering so much that like they see death as a release. Like, oh my God, where are you right now in your emotions
Yeah.
about your no?
And I think the grief process started when he got really sick, and then went on hospice, because in my head I said, okay, this, this is it. And I was helping care for him overnight.
Yeah.
But I think, like you just said, that release, of emotions when I was, with him, when he took his last breath, and knowing that he is at peace, and my grandmother is at peace, because she wasn't sleeping in the days, leading up, because he was so sick and in such pain. So I think that at that moment, it almost shifted, yeah.
Were there ever times where you felt like, I just don't even want to be in this space? It reminds me too much of him.
Yes, in the very beginning. And my grandmother wouldn't even let us in the room. I mean, she had the whole room
Oh, wow.
closed, for months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're in a space where you are grieving and you are trying to make sure your grandmom is okay.
Mhm.
Go up in age. How old is your grandmom?
She just turned 87.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
but his birthday was just the other day. His birthday was just the other day. So that was
happy,
yeah.
happy
birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, last
Yes.
August. We had Miss B's birthday. We
Mhm.
had my mom's birthday, August 12th. And then you had your nonno's
Yeah.
birthday as well. Listen,
Happy birthday to all the birthdays.
I can't tell you how much I know that he is so loving the legacy that he has left in you and your sister and in your mom and in your family. So, on behalf of the Heart of Miss B, I want to thank you so much for being here, being present with us, and sharing a piece of him with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yes.
See you later on in our Brady Bunch in.
No, and before you go, I got to give you a comment. Nikki is all over the comments.
Yes,
She
thank
says,
you.
I'm a caregiver now, and caregivers are powerful.
Mm, yes.
Victoria says, thank you for the encouragement. Right. And then Miss Nikki came back to say, Carmelina, you are very powerful.
Wow.
Yes.
Didn't know
And,
that.
and and Key saying she relating. She can relate to everything you just said. And personally, I can relate because I have been in the space of many people taking their last breath.
Yeah.
And it's an honoring and humbling environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, it's very difficult.
It is.
I think the hardest thing for me was to watch, well, one of the hardest was to watch my grandfather deteriorate right before my eyes.
Mhm.
And I was pregnant, a high risk pregnancy, the only live birth out of seven, well, out of eight, right? And so I was high risk, but he was declining continuously. And I would go every week to my check-in with the OB, and I'm like, induce me.
Mhm.
Induce me because I need him to see his first great grand because I'm the first grand. And he raised me. So he was my dad, and when my dad got murdered, right, that's another loss because he told me he'll be right back and never came right back, and so I relate and understand. I overstand your
Yeah.
grief journey. And I just want to tell you, thank you again.
Yeah.
Alana has something else for you. Then we're going to get you backstage for they eat up all the good stuff. Alana says, thank you for sharing with us, Carmelina. I can relate. My grandmother passed about 3 years ago, and I plant a garden now in her honor.
Yes.
MJ says, definitely can relate to not fully processing or not yet being in full realization of the situation. That's MJ. A lot of us are walking around numb.
Yes.
And so that's why we are honored.
I think that's good.
Yeah, we're honored and thankful for, Kenyatta Gray and, my wife, the secretary, Reverend Core, and everybody else that is a part of this board for the Heart of Miss B, because it has put a platform out in honor of our lost ones, our loved ones that were lost, excuse me, in National Grief Awareness Day. So, Carmelina, as V says, thank you so much for sharing your nom nom with us. And we will put you backstage. Enjoy the festivities. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you, Carm. Wow.
Woo.
Again, I feel really, really inspired. And it's going into something like this. You think you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be really hard. And I mean, in some ways it is, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I anticipated that I would feel this uplifted by everyone's stories. Beautiful. I'm so glad we're here to do this. I'm really feeling honored. What about you? Let me check in with you, T. Let me check in with you. How are you? Because I mean, you've lost your day one.
Yeah.
You've lost your day one. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're gonna do a check-in with T because T like to check in on everybody. But we're gonna check in on T today. We're gonna check in with you because last week you had a huge blow.
Yeah.
Um, woke up in a good mood and got a call.
Yeah.
And so while you are producing this, in the middle of you producing this uh,
Yeah.
for us, thank you so much. You lose your best friend in the whole world, your day one. Both moms were pregnant at the same time, and you've been friends since infancy. And just
Yeah. 43 years.
and a few months before, you lost one of your basically your daughter. You helped,
Yeah.
raise this beautiful young lady, Marshina. You
Yeah.
came to her as a case worker, and you kept taking care of her like a godmother, like a mother. And she was so young. And then
Yeah.
months after, we lost this light. We gained a light. Let me say that we gained a light.
Yeah.
Um, Peaches.
Yeah.
So how are you here with us? How are you processing?
Listen, I'm hanging. The picture that's on the screen now, right? Our moms was pregnant same time. Our grandmothers were buddies. They lived up the street from each other. Actually, I'm at the home where I was raised,
Yeah,
and Peach's grandmother and grandfather lived right up the street.
yeah.
Her family is there now with her. I think granddad is 93. I could be wrong,
Oh, he's 90
but
something because I heard the 90.
yeah, but now he has to bury his oldest.
Yeah,
He has to bury his oldest grandchild because we both was the oldest on our side.
yeah, yeah,
But it's okay.
yeah,
Right? It's okay because it is what it is, and
yeah.
life goes on. And thank you to Catherine saying that we got to live on. And I like I
Yes.
said,
Love that.
I yeah, I needed to hear that. And so it's a lot of people that needed to hear that. But I think for me, I've been through death so much.
Mm,
And I shared with you after Marshina, because I had to do a lot, right? Um,
yeah,
that was heavy on my shoulders.
yeah,
And I remember one night I told you, I says, babe, I don't know if I can take another major loss
yeah,
this year
yeah,
because I was going through my own mental health, right? And my mental health was already fragile of
yeah,
trying to recover and heal through that loss. And so to wake up on one of the should have been the best days of my career and for me to be able to call my day one and have that conversation as I was on my way to set,
yeah,
I couldn't. Instead, I got a phone call that she was somewhere else.
yeah,
Uh, and so I'm processing. Thank you for asking. I'm definitely processing. I have a bracelet on that
yeah.
says
It's
it's
so
okay
to not
to
be.
not be okay.
I say that often.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my shirt,
Yes,
courtesy
I
of the heart of Miss
know.
B.
Let me see if I can reposition
Yeah.
these amazing, yes,
Yeah. Focused on
partners.
my well-being. Thank you, Kenyatta, for these
Thank you,
shirts.
Kenyatta. We got to do
They're
that.
gonna be available for y'all to grab,
I
right?
can't
And we'll
wait.
talk about
I
that
think
later.
Sean said I need one of those T-shirts. She already said that.
Yeah,
I
because we
do.
we we outside without healing,
Right.
and it's about building community and doing that in that kind of way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you for checking in with me. But
Of
listen,
course. Of course.
we got somebody to bring up, man, that's going to bless us with a song that I'm
Yes.
sure is going to uplift a many of folks.
Yes.
So if you all can help us bring onto the stage our soloist for tonight,
Yes.
Miss Justice J, I need for y'all to drop some
Yes.
love, some hearts,
Yes.
some everything for the good
Welcome.
sis.
Welcome. Welcome. Look, that's my
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
we are
I'm doing well.
well. Look, we know death is only the beginning. And so we are here celebrating life,
Absolutely.
acknowledging legacies. And
Mhm.
it's something about music. It's something about them
It is.
that just
It
keep
brings you together.
It
woo,
does. It
It
definitely
brings
does.
you to
something about it. Something about
look.
it.
My sister said all her napkins right here for me, so I can You know, you at an old person house when they got these little things on the table with your napkins in it. So
Yes,
I'm appreciative. Listen, sis, I'm going to ask you a question before we get into your song for tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a question that we have asked everybody and will continue to ask everybody because we think it's important.
yeah.
You didn't sign up just to sing for any live, right? But you are a singer. You a DMV recording artist, and we definitely want to make sure we uplift that. You guys need to get with Justice J, man. She has a lot of things going, so definitely get with her because she DMV. That means she's from here, honey, but she is
Right.
nowhere near local. Don't even do that. The sis is international, and so we want to make sure you all link with her for all of your needs. She does a lot, and so we want to connect with you. But why today? Why is today important for you? Why did you agree to join us today?
Today is very important for me, specifically because one, Kenyatta asked me that. Let's just start there. I feel like as an artist and as a child of God, like, you know, when you get asked to do certain things, using your talents and using your gifts, like you have a responsibility to say yes when it comes to, you know, moving in the kingdom. So anytime that I get asked to use that gift, it's going to be a yes for me. But to be more specific, Miss B specifically, I called her godmommy. That was my godmother. So the relationship that I have with Kenyatta and with Miss B specifically
Wow.
is a lot deeper for me, just because that's the lady who taught me how to sing.
Yeah.
Woo! That's full circle. That's full circle.
Yeah. So I grew up I met her originally in church, basically.
Yeah.
From the time I was a baby. And I grew up just watching her. And when I say grew up, I mean like I was like probably 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
And just watching her from the time that I could remember up until about 3 or 4 years old, I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, like, can that be my godmother? Like, I want to be like this
woman. Godparent.
Yeah, like I chose her. Like
She's
I was
the
like,
one.
I need this woman in my life. Like I love her because I always had a passion for singing. Like when I could open my mouth, I was singing. And to be the youngest child in the house, and you know, I'm just singing all throughout the house.
Walking around, crazy.
And then I get to church and I see this woman, and it's just like, oh my God, like her voice is just so amazing.
Hold on, which woman you talking about, Jesse? You talking about this lady right here?
Yes,
you talking about this lady right here?
Yes.
Yes, Miss Bev.
She would open up her mouth and it was just like you had to just stop and you couldn't move. Your eyes were just locked in, and whatever you were going through, whatever you were feeling, it didn't even matter at that moment. You were tuned into that voice, into that anointing.
Yeah.
I love
it. And Kenyatta said, yes, Justice J. I just imagined that's how she said it.
Yeah, I wanted my station where I do my radio show and everything. And I don't know if Kenyatta even knew this or not, but in my area, I have her obituary. And then I have the picture that Kenyatta did for the repast. So she had like centerpieces of her picture and everything, and that stays right here. Like that doesn't go anywhere. And then the butterflies that Kenyatta did for the centerpieces at her repast as well, those are actually in my car.
Yes.
I don't take any of that away. Like it doesn't go anywhere. I still have the sticker from when she was in the hospital, like on my leather jacket. I haven't worn that leather jacket since she passed.
Wow.
And just because I can't, like it's something to that I just can't do it. But her hospital sticker is still on that jacket. Like she means
come on, Godma. You better come on and honor Godma.
Yeah.
Your self-appointed godmother. I know that's right. That's how you could tell she was a beautiful soul. You know,
and she took me in, and then she became the godmother of both of my kids. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love pieces of her all around you. I absolutely, and I love butterflies. And it was so crazy. Like when you think about the universe and when you think about everything happens for a reason. Kenyatta, I met Kenyatta through T and Angela. I think that's the first time I met her. It was at Angela.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, wow, we had so much in common and didn't even know. Like I when I
Mm-hmm.
have butterflies, I don't know if you guys can see, like I love butterflies. And even the picture that he made me, like for my grandparents, like that's my mom with the hat. It has all
Gotcha.
of the butterflies, and that's my grandmommy with the I
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
love butterflies.
yeah.
So great. All right.
Speaking of butterflies, this song you about to bless us with, sis. I told you when we was in rehearsal. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to give you the spotlight right now for you to do your thing.
All right.
Awesome.
Folks, can you help us give some love for our soloist tonight that's going to give us You Made a Way? Justice J.
All right.
Hopefully, I don't cry while I'm singing this.
And if
You
you
do you, sis.
absolutely okay. That's absolutely okay.
We're here for you.
Standing here, not knowing how we'll get through this test, but holding on to faith, you know best. Nothing can catch you by surprise. You got this figured out, and you're watching us now. When it looks as if we can win, you wrapped us in your arms and stepped in. And everything we need you supply. You got this in control, and now we know that you made a way. When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made a way. You made a way. Now we're here, looking back on where we come from. Because you and nothing we've done to deserve the love and mercy you show. But your grace was strong enough to pick us up, and you made a way. When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was, oh, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made a way. You made a way. And it looked as if it was over. You made a way. And we're standing here only because you made a way. Cause you move mountains and you cause the walls to fall with your power. You perform miracles. There is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing here only because you made a way. You cause the walls to fall with your power, perform miracles. There is nothing. Oh, we're standing here only because you made a way. You move mountains standing here only because you made way. If you're standing here only because you made a way. Thank you.
Woo! Wow.
Hey, hey, sis. Hey, sis.
Woo!
We're gonna take a second. We're gonna just take a second to let that sit.
Mm,
We're gonna let that sit. We're gonna
mm,
let that sit.
mm,
We got some
mm,
comments. Beautiful song and voice.
oh,
Absolutely stunning. Yes, ma'am.
mm,
Beautiful.
mm.
Ma, so beautiful. This is from Kenyatta, the founder of Flights and Stilettos LLC, as well as who we are here for today, the Heart of Miss B Inc., a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Kenyatta says, so beautiful. My heart is so full.
Mm.
We thank you.
Woo!
We
Thank
thank
you
you.
guys.
I have goosebumps.
Kenyatta says, Miss Bev is watching us now. All of our loved ones are watching us.
I
And
feel it.
I believe that with every piece of me.
Yeah.
MJ throwing her shoe at the screen right now.
And FYI, MJ is our that's our
Other daughter,
unofficial adopted daughter, but she has a beautiful voice. She sings.
yes.
Wow. She.
Diamond says, absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Justice
Thank
J.
you guys.
The comments is popping. The nosies is
I mean,
here.
rocking. Look, I'm rocking. Girl,
Yes.
this is still on this frame. I'm rocking. You know, you get that person, you get that rock.
Right.
Right. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to hold this phone, but I'm
Right.
shaking so bad. I feel like an earthquake is in my soul.
Yeah.
Kenyatta
That
on her
was
second box of tissues.
that was I'm
Kenyatta,
gonna say
you
that
need
was one of her that was one of Miss B's favorite songs too. So like when I sent
Wow.
that to Kenyatta, Kenyatta asked me to give her a couple of songs to choose from. And I was just like, I sent her this one. I said, you know what? I said, this was one of her favorite ones. We sung this in church all the time. And so I was like, it felt
Mm.
like that was,
Yeah.
it was either gonna be that one or I think it was My Help.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that song.
Mm.
Like, and the way that Miss B would sing that song, like, oh my goodness.
Woo. I tell
We
you.
thank you so much, sis.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
so
We're
Thank
much.
gonna
you.
send you backstage. Go get you
Woo.
a cup of water or something. Cause
Thank you.
baby, if nobody knew he made a way, you reminded them of that tonight.
Absolutely.
And so we thank you.
I'm glad that could encourage somebody tonight. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Alrighty.
Justice J. Justice J. See,
Kia.
Justice J.
I feel like I need to do my own trigger warning, right? Ground yourself. This is a powerful conversation, folks. We told y'all at the beginning, we had some technical difficulties at the top, but they leveled out
That's
because
right.
we know that we're here for a purpose.
That's right.
And what I got going across the bottom is what we're going into the home stretch: resiliency, the ability to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions.
Yes.
Ground yourself, protect your peace, and know that your loved one, as Kenyatta said, is here with all of us that are watching. Your loved ones are watching with us. This
Absolutely.
is Peach's hair bow that I got,
Yeah,
her
I
mom
was
gave
able to
me
explain that.
from
Yeah.
her house.
And she
So,
loved
you know,
she loved a lot of colors.
yeah, and me and her shared the favorite color of purple. Purple is the color for National Grief Awareness Day. Purple is the color of royalty. And the house that I'm sitting in right now, the outside is purple.
Yeah.
So we are here for a purpose. And we have another ambassador that's going to come on and talk about her journey and
Yeah.
share that with us. So, Kia, I need you and everybody else to help us welcome our
Yes.
next ambassador, Miss Arlinda. Where
God.
you at, Miss Arlinda?
Welcome. Welcome.
Uh-oh, where Miss
Woo!
Arlinda go?
I tell you, this is she might have had to get some tissues because
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
We
mean, I'm
gonna
sorry. Justice J. Whew,
yeah, she did that.
yeah, we have so angelic,
She did that.
so beautiful.
Listen,
There
but that's
she
okay.
Hello, Arlinda. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
How are you?
So we're so blessed to have you here. So good to
How
see
are
you.
you?
Again. Unmute yourself so all the world can hear you. All right.
Uh-oh.
Let's give her a couple minutes.
Yeah.
It's raining and it's, every weather
Yeah,
effect.
we got storming. We're gonna give her a second.
We have a
But
lot.
while Arlinda is getting herself together, we want to welcome you once again to the
Yes.
first annual Day of Reflection and Remembrance in honor of National Grief Awareness Day. I'm
Absolutely.
T. Pearson Hall of TPX, home of the Team Nosies.
Yes.
And my wife, introduce yourself, please.
And I'm Kia G from Don't Ignore the Scars. And of course, Candid Convos with T and Kia.
And you're also another position for in this space for
I'm
tonight.
also the secretary on the board for the Heart of Miss B.
And we appreciate you. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you. I'm so honored to be here. So we may have to move on to the
Yeah,
next.
we're gonna put Arlinda back. I think
Yeah.
she's trying to get her service together. So we're gonna move on because we have some more ambassadors
Yes, we got
backstage.
Keisha ready. We
Huh?
got we got Key. Is it Key? Is she gonna be Key or
Yeah. Key is ready. Key is
Key?
backstage and ready. So
Yes.
folks, help us bring onto the stage Miss Key. Key, where you at, Key? Where
Hi,
you at, young
Key.
lady? How are you?
It would help if I unmuted.
That's okay. It's okay.
Look, I was like, "Oh, I'm glad Arlinda going on because after that song, that was not together.
Yes, that thing
I
is
was not together.
yes.
Woo, Lord,
Well,
that
you
was
know
You
what?
did that.
some kind of.
Listen, you're here
You
with
did
us.
that.
I
So
am.
honored to have you. So listen,
Thank
let's jump right on in.
Okay.
Why are you here today? Key, why is today so important for you?
I think today's important. One, of course, it's National Grief Day and Remembrance, but I also think it's a day of healing. And for me, today represents the first day of me starting my journey to actually heal fully, forgive myself. Once you hear the story, and the honor this woman behind me, my mom, and I'm
Mm,
wearing red because, as you can see in the smaller picture, red was her favorite color.
wow.
So I just grabbed the first thing out of my closet that was red, and
Yes, yes.
I threw it on.
And red is powerful.
That was
It's so
her.
interesting you say that because
That
I
was
have a red, I have my grandmother's
I
old
about to say grandma favorite color is
red
red.
blazer, red blazer that she literally purchased like in the 70s. The label, like they don't even make this anymore. So I love that you are channeling, mom through color and through all
Yes.
these things. It's
Yes.
so beautiful.
Yeah, I got my favorite necklace on. My kids got me that says it has my mother's name etched in and my grandmother's name. And it said
Mhm.
in my heart, but in God's hands. So
Ooh.
this is that I thought that was one of the most powerful things. I said, did you think of that yourself? I
You're like, oh, I'm doing a good job.
can't remember that. Did y'all think of that yourselves? Was that there? But yeah.
Right. I love
Hey,
I love that. And so your
I
mom was I'm sorry, T, did you want to say
no,
something?
no, go for it. I'm sorry.
So your mom was this dynamic woman. I can only imagine. But what do you want the world? What do you want us to know about your mom? Like,
Hmm.
if you could even summarize it, take your time.
Um, Feisty.
Mm. Oh, she was something else.
She didn't play. She didn't play about her kids. She didn't play about her family. My mom had me when she was 16.
Mm.
So we grew up together.
Mm.
And then, you know, our relationship got estranged, I would like to say.
Yeah.
Drugs played a big part. I left home at 15 after helping to raise my brother and sister, ended up coming back to continue to raise them. Um,
Mm.
so, yeah, we had a very strange relationship, but I said she was feisty. But she was also resilient because no matter how many failures and stumbling blocks that she encountered in her life with the abuse and drugs and the things that, I witnessed, my siblings witnessed growing up, my mom,
Hmm.
she, no matter what I said, no matter what I did to try to push her away, she never stopped coming back and come back swinging.
Hmm.
And that's what I want the world to know that, yeah, she had those bad times, but that lady always came back swinging. Um,
Mm.
she never stopped.
Yeah,
I hear resiliency.
I
Hmm.
I
do.
I hear
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
That
I hear resiliency.
that dedication to your children. And I think, people don't realize, substance use, it's a disease. It's not like folks are walking around going, yeah, I want to just become addicted to this substance and,
Right.
and just all of a sudden live my life. No, it is a disease. And it takes more than just willpower alone to
Mhm.
be able to be able to process through that and get the help that
Mm-hmm.
you need. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I, I,
And
I love the fact that she was like, in the midst of all of that, I'm still going to be in my kid's life and
yeah,
whatever that looks like.
Mhm.
yeah.
And I love that you were open, because that's not that you were open to receiving her in the midst of addiction and all these other dynamics that were in play.
Mhm.
Woo, that takes a very unselfish heart.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't
Unselfish.
think of it that way.
And if I may, if I may lend some light from the addiction standpoint.
Yeah.
So I am going into my 7th year of recovery from opioids. I'm a disabled Army veteran, and
Right.
through my injuries and through life, I got addicted to my pain pills. So much so that it caused depression, suicide attempts, and many trips to the mental health floor, right?
Mhm.
Because it's an illness.
Yeah.
And so I feel your mom, right? I feel your mom. I feel so many people that have lost the battle to addiction. There's
Yeah.
some very notable celebrities, right? That put the spotlight on what addiction looks like
Mhm.
and what recovery looks like. And
Yeah.
so, if I could just say something to everybody out there, right? As a person that's in recovery, my
Mm.
challenge to all of us is to look at people that are in addiction or recovery and give them grace. Give them grace,
Mm.
because your one more hug, your one more give a care could be their step to recovery or to maintaining the recovery. But it is a disease and we don't choose it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to get high. Nobody wants to almost die every damn time. And so it is an addiction. And unfortunately, some of us lose the fight. I know I've been real close to that line and thankful that they were able to pump my stomach and bring me back and, all of that stuff. But one last time, unfortunately, runs out for all of us. But I
Yeah.
know that your mom tried,
Yeah.
right? Because we all try. We
Yeah.
all try.
Yeah.
And I know that she is somewhere smiling down on you and the journey that you have continued
Yes.
in her absence. But I also know that some of us have to go so that our children can heal properly.
Yeah. Wow.
And I learned that in recovery. I
Yeah.
learned that in rehab, that
Yeah.
some of us will have to go because we're hurting our children here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that sit with somebody. That may not have been for you, sis, but that's gonna
Oh,
sit
no,
with
that was for
somebody.
me.
And know that we do our best.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say we because every day is a new challenge for me to not pick up a pain pill with my pain and my trauma that make me want to get high and escape. But I have to continue. And so I challenge people. That support system that Catherine talked about earlier, that thing is real. Dr.
Mhm.
Tiffany talked about it. That thing is real, the support system. And
Yes.
we
Yes.
heard you mention it too, Key. So thank you for
Yes.
that. I have
Yes.
one more question for you, and then I'm a gone backstage. Um, Grief can be a transformative experience, right? And so, could you share with us some ways, if any, that your grief journey has influenced your life goals and your aspirations?
Good question. Good question.
Right? um, because grief hit me so hard. Um, it was grief and it was guilt. It was more guilt than it was
Mm.
grief. Um, the
Yeah.
guilt pushed me to want to be a better person, and actually focus more on the things that I wanted to do. You get so involved and wrapped up when you have to take care of other people and you're that support system for everybody else, and you lose
Yeah.
yourself doing everything for everybody because you have so many responsibilities because your mother is no longer here. Um,
Yeah.
I have taken those life lessons um, and try to spin them in a positive manner. Meaning, you know, I've always, you know, my mom always talked about modeling and her wanting to model, and we talked about, you know, different things. And so I jumped out there and I said, you know, I'm in my late 40s. I'm 50 now, but um, 10 years ago, I started modeling. And, you know,
Wow.
that's, you know, that's just something you don't do at our age. Well, at my age. You know, trying to start my own company,
Shoot.
my payroll company, just things that my mom
Yeah.
wasn't able to do being a mom at 16 and graduating
Yeah.
with her baby on her hip. Um,
Yeah.
and then, you know, just taking the things that she couldn't do and wasn't able to do. And now that I am able to do it, now that most of my kids
Mhm.
are grown, I need to do that for her.
Yeah.
Mm.
I need to.
I feel
Mm. Mm.
thinking when you came on, I was thinking, darn, she sure does look like a model. I don't know.
Right. Right.
I don't-
And it was the red carpet, red dress for me. I said, sis
was
definitely is,
like,
she
It's
is
a third.
outside with us today.
well, actually, when she first came on, I was like, is that April? And I'm like, we don't know. She said, that's Key. I'm like, I know, like, oh, Marion's April. Anyway,
Yes, thank you.
you know,
Hmm. Hmm. We was out here being nosy with you.
you know,
We was out here
don't be
being
telling
nosy
me that
with
she
you.
looks like April from, is her name's April, isn't it?
Yes, April
Yeah.
Jones.
Ain't somebody ever tell you look like Cardi B sister Hennessy?
I've heard
No,
that.
I
Yeah,
don't see no
Yes,
Hennessy.
I've
she
heard
when she before the Hennessy kicked in. But that's another show. That's another show. Don't worry
No
about it. That's another show.
libations today. I am good. I just had my water. That's just my water.
So, Key, we definitely appreciate you so much of
thank
joining us today and sharing with
Yes.
us.
thank
As
you.
challenging as it was,
Yeah.
you did it.
I
And
did
you
do
shared your mom with us. You showed us and told us that you are living all of the things that you know she would have wanted to do, but she had a baby early.
Yeah.
And you are continuing her legacy.
Yes, she
And that's
is.
another part of grief of being able to continue the legacy to which
Yeah,
our parents want us to live. And
absolutely.
sis, you doing it.
Thank
In
you.
a fierce way.
And thank,
Hello?
And
thank
we
you guys, and especially Kenyatta, for this platform. I mean, this is, you know, we're supposed to be here to let other people know that, you know, they're not alone, and to help other people. But in the same time, I'm so being fed, and God places people and things in your path for a reason. So
Yeah.
you really got to follow. So thank you, Kenyatta. Thank you guys, just for the opportunity. So
We
absolutely.
appreciate you,
Thank you
sis.
so
So
much.
we're gonna send you backstage. Go and
Yes,
get you
we'll
some
do it a little bit
leftovers.
later.
all right.
Yes.
We'll see you later.
I tell you, we just moving on. We trucking on
Man, Kia, I'm full.
now. I
I'm
am.
full. We
I
gotta
really am.
we had to pull up in the back though. We had to pull up to the VIP section.
Okay.
Um, we somebody told me that Arlinda was in the back. The
Okay.
storm. She
Okay.
done made it through the storm, and she
You
is
ready?
here to share her
We're
journey
ready
with
for her.
us.
We're ready for her.
So we're
Yes.
gonna bring Arlinda back on. Arlinda, you
Yes.
safe over
Welcome
there?
back.
Woo.
You
Yes.
safe over
I
there?
made it through the storm and the rain, but I made it.
Mm.
Amen to that. And we appreciate you making it for us.
Yes. Yes. I'm loving the yellow. It's very vibrant.
Hmm.
It's very
I,
hard to
I
miss
think
B. I love it. I love it. So listen, Arlinda, you've gone through some stuff. You've got a powerful testimony. Why is today important for you?
Hmm.
I tell you what, all the stuff even today I've been through, it reminds
Mm.
me of that power that my dad instilled in me, and that's that you don't give up. No matter what happens, you keep trying to make it
Wow.
happen. And today was so important to me today. I was like, Lord, you're gonna come through. So when my
Mm,
phone died a minute ago, I picked up the next
mm.
phone and
That's
got
right.
ready to go. So I'm here today because
Oh,
this dad. I
oh wow. He's
I
handsome.
call my dad my Superman,
Oh,
and he was not just a father to me.
oh, he
He
fished too. Look at all
is,
those fish, T. Look at all those fish.
yes, he was the
Wow.
fisherman, not just a fisherman of fish, but he was a fisherman of men. He strong belief in God, family, his children,
Mm,
his community, his job. Um, he wasn't just a father to me. He was a father figure to so many young men who sometimes wouldn't have that father figure to show them how to do stuff. And so
Mm.
I'm here today
Mm.
to talk about my Superman, and that's what
That's
I call
right.
him.
That's right. Enough said with that. Her Superman. And
I
so
Listen.
call him that till he took his last breath. I remember the night that he died,
Mhm.
2016, and I was holding his hand, and he looked at me and he said, "Am I still the man? Am I still the Superman?"
Mm.
And just knowing everything that he's done for me and my brothers and sisters and how he raised us, um, he was the type of person who took care of the community. He had a big garden and he would plant things and he would always tell people, I could feed the community with this garden. He would pick stuff and take it to the elderly.
mm.
Um, my
Mm.
dad was an aero mechanic and he worked on airplanes, and I remember I would go out to his job with him and he would show me all these huge planes, and that's why I
Wow.
thought my dad is so fabulous and he's so wonderful. And you know,
Yeah.
he would put me on his feet when he got home from work and he would dance with me. And
Oh,
I
when
can
I hear
so
that
I can
song
see
by
that.
Luther
I
Vandross,
was thinking
dance
about
with
you
my
dancing
father
with your
again.
father.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
yes.
And so he was a fabulous grandfather and great grandfather. He was married to my mom over 60 years, and that's the true meaning of love.
Yeah. Oh,
That
yes. You
she
said
was
60.
with
You said
him
60 years?
60, yes, and
Whoa.
the love that he put out and the care that he gave to my mom, she did that back with him. And me and my mom have this thing going. My dad collected dimes and put them
Oh,
in the holder, and I would watch him and I would help him stuff them. And after he died, my mom was talking with him, and she looked up, and there were these dimes on the floor. And then whenever something would come up, we would see dimes. I'd go out in the street. Now you wouldn't see a penny on the ground, but when I really
Mm.
would think about my dad, I look down, there's a dime. And so things like that help me know my dad is forever with me. That, like they
Mhm.
said, don't move on, live on. I'm able
yes.
to live on
You can put that on a
because
shirt, see.
I know he's. I see him in so many things. Go past a lake with those fish, I can hear my dad going, "There go a big one. I got a big one." And so I was able to um, grieve about my father because he did so much. He instilled so
Yeah.
much. He baked cakes. And I know
Yeah.
he got to the point where he didn't have to have a recipe.
You said
He
he
would
bakes.
pour
I'm sorry.
those in.
He bakes
He
cakes.
baked cakes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, a fisherman.
he wouldn't, he got to where he didn't have to measure it. He knew the exact amount. And so I think about how he
Oh,
poured into other people. And he would
Mhm.
pour just what people needed when they needed it, just
okay.
like he baked that cake. And so I'm able now
Okay.
to pour what he did into my children, into their kids, and that they know about their granddad, and some of them never met him, but they could tell you everything about him.
Yes, yes. Well, I feel like
Hey,
she's already answered the other question. We could just go.
I got another question for, but I want to say something about them dimes. When Marshina passed away, her mom told me, she says she spoke to her daughter, right? And she told me, Marshina said to tell you, whatever you see two dimes side by side, that she's here with you. I
Wow.
promise
Wow.
you. I promise you,
Wow.
kid, what I find, two dimes.
You did. You did. You actually did. Wow.
And I
How
was
ironic
like,
is that?
how ironic. And so
Yes.
maybe there you go. So I just wanted to throw that on out there. But I have one more question for you. Because I do agree with Key. I think you definitely covered the what do you want the world to know about your dad. He was Superman.
Yes.
He's
My
Superman.
Absolutely.
granddaddy was Superman too. I promise you, I tell you, and MacGyver, he can make a slingshot out of a paperclip.
Mm-mm.
But
Mm.
for you, sis, grief can sometimes bring unexpected personal growth. Can you share a specific instance where you found strength or resilience within yourself that you didn't even know you had?
Mm.
Definitely. And before I say that, when you say the word resilience, the beginning of that word is re, which means to
Ooh,
do it
come on now.
over and over again. And so I think I found strength over and over again because my
Oh.
dad, I remember the night he died.
Mm.
And it wasn't real to me. But then when they took him out the back door,
Mm.
my head started pounding, and I thought I was in the world with him. And I remember hearing him say to me, "Baby, you can't go with me. You stay here and
Mm.
carry on my legacy. You stay here and
Mm.
you take care of your mom." And in the moment that he died and they let him and they took him out, he put that in me that family is important. Your kids are important. Your mom is taking care of me. You be there for her. If you sit here and stress out about me leaving, then she's gonna stress out about you leaving, so you can't
Yeah.
go. And so that's one time. And then I've had times where my dad, he was a strong believer in teaching his girls how to change the tire.
Oh,
And I
look,
remember
I'm
the
one of those
first
ones that
time,
can change the tire too.
yes.
Go
And
ahead.
my dad took care of all of our mechanical needs. I remember the first time I had a flat by myself, and I said, "Lord, what would my daddy do?" And God told me he would get it
Mm.
done.
All
And
right.
I promise
Love it.
you,
Get it done.
he died, and I was able to change that tire. And now I know
And,
that everything
and
my
you
dad
you know, and you
taught
went on
me.
about your way.
Yes,
No need to pay that extra
yes,
money to
yes.
trip away.
Yeah.
Trip away. Listen,
So I'm not
Arlinda,
grieving
thank
him
you.
today. I'm celebrating him today.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
You better come on
I
now.
appreciate you and bringing that sunshine. You look so
Hey,
vibrant.
listen,
Came on. We
that
love it.
yellow shirt is speaking that sunshine, kid. It's
Yes, it
speaking it.
definitely is. All right, we'll see you a little bit later
Thank you,
on.
Arlinda.
Thank
We'll
you
see you
Thank
in a
you,
so
little
much.
bit.
Arlinda. All right,
Thank
she
you.
sure has Superman, and he really does sound like Superman.
Yeah, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's her daddy. You better not
Yes,
play with it.
a
It's
bit
her daddy. Yes. So
amazing.
listen, we're gonna keep it moving because we have a mental health professional.
Yes,
We have a mental health professional that's going to come in and jump in and give us some gems. We know we're getting close to time, folks. And so we appreciate y'all still hanging with us. But
yes,
this is a conversation of healing. And so you can't necessarily put a time on that as much
absolutely.
as we try. And so if you all can help us bring up to the stage our wonderful mental health professional that's going to join us tonight. And
Yes.
guess what I found out, kid?
What'd you find out?
I found out that a little birdie in my ear told me that somebody got a birthday tomorrow.
Ah,
Somebody somebody got a birthday tomorrow. So I'm gonna need y'all to help me wish our good old Karana a
yes.
wonderful, happy,
Happy
happy early birthday.
birthday.
Now hold on, I gotta sing the song. I wanna
Please
say
don't. Oh
happy
no.
birthday to you.
We could have got
Ha
Justin
ha.
for it. We
I
could have got.
wanna say
I'm
happy
apologizing that
birthday to
okay.
you.
Okay, T.
Hey.
I'm gonna need you to sing that in 2 minutes.
I've been dying to sing that song
I'm
since I learned it on TikTok. So
gonna
happy
sing
early
that.
birthday.
You bet. Yeah. Mm,
No, I love it. I appreciate it. My
She's so jealous.
my niece introduced that song to me. So I had like a little birthday
Yeah.
kickoff dinner. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Zoe, that's a new birthday song, but I love it, come
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah.
But no, I only have 4 minutes, remaining. So I'm just gonna, just try to
Get
jump.
into it. We're gonna give you the screen. You jump into it, sis. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. And so far, this has been such a blessing to my spirit, to my soul, because, okay, let me stick to the track because I do not want to deviate. But I know one of the questions, do I get a question?
Oh, I'm glad you said that
Why,
because
why is it important for you to be here? Why
yeah,
would
hold on, kid, because she made it seem like she ain't want to ask no question.
tell her don't do that? Don't
Yeah,
do that.
because she was like, since we close to time, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in. I thought she was gonna skip her question because I was gonna
And she
ask
was
you at
like,
the end.
and she said, in a now, I want my
You was
question
gonna get
to
it at the
be
end.
there.
Talk to us real quick about why you agreed to be here with us.
Mm.
Why is today important for you, sis? Please share with us.
Well, number one, I kind of feel like today allows me to embrace the things that I do have. I feel like I too experienced so much loss, both parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. It almost seems so surreal, and it's just so easy to just kind of like detach. But it is so much still around us that we can just like put out energy there and recognize it. Also, because today gives me another opportunity to just learn how to not just survive life, but live it. I always tell my clients, practice makes mastery, So to me, having an opportunity another day, just give me, the ability to do that. And then lastly, being a believer, I know that God is a very purposeful one. And so I feel like if he decided to blow breath into my body, I must have a purpose here today. And I definitely want to fulfill that.
Wow. Okay. Listen, profound. Listen, it's nothing else to say besides, listen, I'm gonna live life. I'm gonna ride this till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and it was just today, I was talking to, one of my best friends. We've been friends since we were 8 years old. I can't believe I'm about to be 40 tomorrow. And and
you fitting to really show off. Look, you said 4 hours. Shall we see you next week? So.
I was like, I've been in the mental health field since I was 17, literally my whole life. So much that I've been able to see and experience. And like I said, I definitely believe that God is a purposeful one. Also just self-disclosure, family who has, addictions and mental illness. And it's just fortified me, to be able to kind of stand on this field. And I'm the therapist. I'm community based, so I love being in the trenches. Shelter.
Yes, come on now.
I'm like, I don't want to be in anybody's office. I'm
No,
like,
no, I wanna be
I'm in the trenches. Yes, where the real work is.
Yes, where the real work is. Yes. Just listening to everyone's story. I'm actually glad that I'm last, because I wanted to come through just to kind of speak on a couple of concepts.
Now hold on, you ain't last though. We got 2 more after you.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna be really fast. I'm gonna be really fast.
Yep, we got 2 more ambassadors that's coming up after you, because we feel like this was the point where people needed these nuggets from you.
Yes. Yeah. And so I wanted to talk about, there's levels to this grief. And sometimes people think like, oh, you're experiencing sadness, then you have a mental illness. Absolutely not. There's 5 stages to grief and loss. Number 1 is denial. Number 2, anger. Number 3, bargaining. Number 4, depression. Number 5, acceptance. And so, with the denial stage, it's designed to protect us so we can survive the loss. Because a lot of times that blow can really take us out. And it's like our mind, develops like this mechanism that it kicks us into to kind of distance ourselves from the reality a bit, just so we can kind of breathe through it. And then comes the anger, which is completely normal to be angry, especially when you're coming from a state of denial, right? A place where you were kind of disconnected and a bit numb. But even though anger may feel unpleasant, it's necessary. I always tell my clients that emotions is nothing more but telling us information, things that we need to know how we're responding so we can do something about it. Because underneath that anger is pain. And so pain and being able to process it and address it, that is basically the step towards healing, right? And then you have bargaining. So a lot of times that's when people say, if I do this, or if this would have happened, and this would have happened, and then maybe then none of this would have happened. Life, the transitioning is inevitable. It's not personal at all. It was going to happen sometime, but a lot of times people take on a lot of that guilt, and that's where guilt begin to kind of like, find its entryway, and shame comes on and all those different things. But, just something to be mindful of. And then depression, again, depression is when you're now coming into like the present state and you're starting to feel again. And so it's perfectly normal to feel sad when you experience a loss, abandonment. The person who used to be here is no longer here. If you didn't feel those feelings, that will be a norm.
If you're like, then that's a problem.
Say it again.
I said, you're like, and that would be a problem.
And that will be a problem, so it's not a mental illness because you're experiencing sadness. That's related solely to grief. um and then you have acceptance. It's not saying that it's going to be okay, but what it is saying is that I'm getting to a place where I can at least accept and acknowledge that the person is no longer physically here with me. And I do like how people are saying, we don't get over it. We don't get over grief. We just really learn how to move forward with it and live through that.
It's very real. It's very real. Thank you so much for those steps and just breaking those steps, those processes rather down. I mean, because you could be in one stage
Yeah.
years. You could, I mean, you have some people who have suffered so much loss and trauma and tragedy that they
Mhm.
literally are stuck in anger for like years.
Mhm.
Acceptance, some people die never getting to acceptance. It's
Mhm.
very
And
real.
those emotions are fluid.
No.
They can go back and forth, and
Yes.
you can. I know I did. This last 2 weeks, I went through all of those stages,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
sometime all in the same five
mhm.
minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like it. Oh yes, I can vouch for that.
And that's
Anybody, don't do too much. Don't do too much.
We all grieve differently. We also say that again. We all grieve differently. It looks
yes. Yes. And
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to echo what you were just saying. It's not
Do
linear.
me a favor, real quick, Karana. I'm sorry to tilt your screen down just a little bit so we can see you above your banner. There we go.
Is
We
this
want the folks to see all of your face. Yes, thank you. I'm
okay?
sorry.
Okay, no problem. No, and it's not linear.
Yeah.
You can sway back and forth. But to me, it's really just about awareness. Just being
mm,
aware that, hey, I'm hurting right now. This is how I'm feeling, and this is me being intentional about how I'm going to handle it. It's not that these emotions are taking the wheel and I don't know I'm not coming or going or what's going on. It's just really about being aware of this process. Um,
Hmm.
and another thing, I just wanted to kind of like highlight just some coping skills, and I did want to also highlight
that's
some
right. I miss you.
no,
Also available in app form if you need it.
Right.
So shameless plug.
no, I love the plug. I love these type of tools for myself and for my clients, because we need a space where we can release our thoughts, release our feelings without judgment, sometimes without a response. We just need to get it out. I
Hmm.
feel like this is a really good tool. And what I love about this journal as well is that she really talks about how to honor, how do we still, even though the person has transitioned, how can we still keep them alive? What are some new traditions that we can come up with, that
Hmm.
we kind of keep going and allowing to live on, and along with like different tips, so a
Yes.
very helpful book, or journal per se, where you're allowed to just kind of put all of your thoughts into, onto the pages.
Yes, I will agree with you on that. One of the reasons why my sister likes it so much is because it gives you ideas of emotions. We take for granted that we can open up, us writers, we take for granted we
Hmm.
can open up, something and just start writing on blank pages. But some of us need prompts. Some
Yeah.
some people need you to list feelings. Because when you ask somebody how they feel, it's interesting when you ask them that they'll tell you everything but a feeling. And you have to
Yeah.
go back and go, okay, but so how did that make you feel? And give them examples. And definitely, I Miss You does that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so also to the traditional way of therapy as a psychotherapist, I'm also an art therapist. And so I love to integrate the arts and music and poetry and dance and movements, into the
And I
session.
see DBT. Is that dialectical behavioral therapy?
Yes. Yeah.
I love that, especially if you have borderline personality disorder. That is absolute, girl.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, and all those different techniques and tools and outlets, just very helpful because as the Reverend was saying earlier, um, we're people, we're all people. We're
Right.
all trying to figure out how to deal with all these different emotions,
and strategies and tools, and even this support circle. I can't even tell you like how my heart is filled, just amazing how people are able to come and rally together and be there for each other. And even if you're just sad or, whatever, it's like we can be there with you.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to shift you to like a happy place, it's like, hey, I mean, I want to be in a, like, give me that
Right.
space.
Yeah, to be wherever you want to be. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To be wherever you want to be.
Ah, you know,
But we appreciate you so much,
I
sis.
see why she's thriving, a thriving psychotherapist. Because I tell you, I would chat with you. I definitely would chat with you.
Yeah. I might pull up on your couch one day. So look out for appointment
I may
requests.
throw her on your couch. You know, let's.
All right, we're gonna let you go before my wife do too much on this live broadcast. So we appreciate you, Miss Karana, for joining us
Thank you,
once again.
Kawana.
We want to say happy birthday to you.
Thank
I want you. How I say, make a candle, make a wish,
Now you
something.
do
Think about it. I'll practice and I'll sing it to you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, sis. I appreciate you.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
put you backstage.
What was the part? What's up with that?
I want to say I gotta figure that out. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna practice for
Oh,
karaoke tomorrow.
okay,
I'm
well,
gonna practice for karaoke tomorrow.
you practice
Listen,
while I move on to who we have next.
yes, and I want to tell people to go ahead and download that app, man. You could download the app and it'll get you together.
Yeah.
Here's the information that you need to know. If you pause your screen, you can scan the QR code and it will take you to the App Store to download the I Miss You, the Heart of Miss B exclusive app
Excuse
for you to do your journaling in app form. So, yes. Man, we got amazing conversation. We got two more ambassadors though that's gonna come up and gonna share their journey with us. And so I need everybody to help us welcome our next ambassador, Miss Latoya Hill. Latoya, where you at, girl?
Hello, everyone.
Yes. Come on, Purple Rain.
Hi.
Come on now. Where my Lord? Yeah, we
Hello,
outside.
hello, hello.
We are
Hello, how are you?
powerful
I
purpose.
am well, thank you. How are you all?
We
You said
are.
I'm royal.
That's
I
good.
said, well, I am royal, thank you, but I said I'm well, thank you. How
I
are
thought
you
you
all?
said I'm royal. How y'all about to say period? You better.
Latoya, you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for hanging in with us.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Okay,
of course.
here. Tell why are you here today? Why is it
Well, today is important to me because, okay, so Kenyatta and I are cousins.
important?
And over a 3 year span, starting in 2017, our family suffered a lot of loss. In 2017, we lost our grandmother. In 2018, I lost a great aunt. Then I lost my sister. And then we lost her mother, Miss B, who I knew as Aunt Beverly. And then in 2019, we lost the uncle. And so I
Mm.
just think it's important to discuss grief and to have people, just to hear different point of views on grief and how other people are coping with it. And I just wanted to honor my sister, who I am going to discuss today. If you can see her on my shirt,
Oh, let me see. Oh, I do
Casey.
see. I do see her.
And it says,
Latoya,
as long as I live, Siobhan, you will always be remembered.
Latoya, what do you want us to know about your sister?
Ooh,
What do I
yes.
want you all to know about my sister? Okay, so my sister, she was a trip. She she was a trip. She meant what she said and said what she meant. She
Okay.
loved her family, but most of all, she had a heart of gold. She would try to help anyone as best as she could.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what I want people to know about her is that I truly believe that God created each one of us with a purpose.
Mm.
And I feel that once your purpose in life, whether you know what your purpose in life is, once you have fulfilled that purpose in life, God calls you home. So I want you all to know that she completed her purpose, whatever her purpose was.
Mm,
Ooh.
mm.
Girl,
Ooh,
yes.
the purpose
Yes.
that grabbed me.
Well done.
Listen,
Yeah.
and we don't always know what they're here for. So
Yeah.
we
Right.
think that it's too soon when their mission is accomplished and they're called home. And
Yes. And
that's
that's what gives me comfort. That's what gives me peace. That's what helped me through the grieving process.
mm. Wow.
Listen, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You here as a remembrance ambassador, right? And so you helping people with sharing your story.
Yeah.
And so what motivates you to open up about your grief? And
Mm,
what do you hope others to gain from you sharing your story just now? I got some takeaways, but could you give them some of your takeaways?
yeah.
And that right there is, I just wanted to be open about my grief because it was very, very difficult. I mean, my sister, like, people pass away, and yeah, I grieve, but it wasn't until my sister passed that, I mean, I really, really felt it. Like, you know how you say it hit you like a ton of bricks? No, it hit me like boulders.
Oh,
Until this day, I've never felt a pain worse than that. That was like the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And so I just was hoping that I could say something that helped me in my grief process that would help others. And like I said, I just really feel like everyone has a purpose in life. And so I just hope that people will take that and heal from it, start to heal the healing process. It's
mm,
not easy, but those are some of the things that I wanted people to gain from
yeah.
discussing it.
Yeah. Because even if it's hard, it's necessary and
Yeah.
not.
Right,
Wow.
Mm, thank
That
you
was,
for that.
I so appreciate.
hmm
And we're still here. We're
hmm
still here with you. We're
We got
still.
one more question. We
Okay.
got one more question for you. What do you want people to know?
What
What
I
do you
want
want
people
people to
to know.
know?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
what do you
want
want
to
people to
start
know
with
about your loved ones?
um I want to start with a story that's very, very sad to me because of where she was in her life when she passed away. Then I'm gonna bring it back around to a happy one. So, when my sister passed, so my sister was very loving. She loved kids. She helped raise her nieces and nephews. She had a lot of god kids. So, she had got married when she passed away. So let me go back. So the day before she got married, she found out she was finally pregnant, right? So she was happy
Mm-hmm.
about it. It was a
Mm-hmm.
high risk pregnancy. She got put on bed rest very early. She did everything she could to, keep her baby so that she could have her baby. So she was premature. She had her early. She had her in June, and because she was premature, she stayed in the hospital for 4 weeks. The baby stayed in the hospital for 4 weeks, and my sister visited her every day.
Mm.
Once she finally got out of the hospital, 2 weeks later is when she passed away. That
Wow.
was very, very heartbreaking. That was very hard for me. It was just
Wow.
so unexpected. I think I went from denial straight to anger. And
Yeah.
so knowing that, um, so just knowing that, I just want people to know that she was very loving. She loved her family. She was so, so happy that she had finally had a baby. And so I just want people to know that she left a part of her here. And like I said, she completed her purpose and her journey in life.
Woo! You better come on with that finish the journey.
Thank you.
Man. Kia, you on mute.
And you know that muted by itself, it's weird. It muted by itself literally because I had the cursor over it. It's weird. But your niece's name, did you name her after her mom?
Yes, good
No,
question.
she actually named her herself
Oh,
because
she did?
she did name her herself.
Okay.
Yes. She her name is Anaya Holly Ramsey. Holly is my grandmother's last name. So
Mm,
Anaya Holly Ramsey is
wow.
what she names her.
She
And then
left
I
a
also she did. She left a piece of her. But what I also wanted to say is, what also gives me comfort is that when she passed, she had just got married like 6 weeks previous. I mean, 6 months previously. So when
mm,
she passed, because she passed in the home, she passed in her home. Her
mm,
husband was like, I can't stay here. So I'm now here in her home. I took over her home so that we could keep it in the family and that one day
yeah,
pass it on to her daughter. Her
yeah.
favorite color was purple, so hence
Purple.
the purple. If you look behind me, these are purple curtains.
I
I
love it.
painted the walls a pretty vibrant purple, so it keeps
I
me
love it.
happy. And also, what I wanted to share is I made a little, I don't know if you want to call this like a little shrine, a
Oh,
little, this is
oh,
her. This is the
Wow.
plant from her, my favorite plant from her funeral
Nice.
5 years ago. I'm doing everything to keep it alive. And then I made little pictures,
Oh, I
frames
love it.
of
Let me see a
her
little sparkle
and
frame. I like that.
her family members. And then
Ooh.
here's her little crown. I don't know if I got that right there.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, I
That's
just made a little shrine in my living room dedicated to her.
and it brings you comfort.
It
That
does.
comfort
It
is
does.
important. Latoya, thank you so
Yeah,
much for joining us.
of
Thank you so
course,
much
of
for
course.
sharing those pieces of your sister with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All
And
right.
thank you so much. You touched us.
I
You touched us all, and you're
Yeah.
doing your. I know you talked about your sister today, but you talked about so many other spirits that are around you
Yes.
today. And so thank you for sharing them with us as well.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put you in the back, sis, and don't go nowhere because you'll be up soon.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Can you
Mm,
believe we're coming towards the to the end almost.
we are, we
And this
are, we
last one is
are.
like it's so crazy because this last one I meant to grab that candle because
Yeah,
I literally feel like even is that who she gonna be talking about, right?
go get it. Yep, go get it.
You want me to go get it?
Go
Okay.
get it. I'm gonna drop you off. I'm
Okay,
gonna
drop
drop
it.
you off, and I'll
Yeah.
bring her on, and you come back with the candle.
Okay, drop it off. Because it's in our living room.
Yep. So listen, folks. Right now, I'm gonna bring up our last ambassador for tonight. This person is my cousin, my first cousin, my twin, my heart. She is everything in blood to me. Her grandmother and my grandfather were siblings. So I want you to help me bring on Alexia Dumboya, our seventh and final ambassador for today. And you will see why. Alexia, how are you?
Hey!
What's up with you?
Woo! Oh my gosh, this has been like the best experience. Listening in, I've changed what I wanted to say about 328 times because I'm just so full, so empowered, just so blessed. I thank you and I love you, and I'm sending all kinds of love and support to you too because I know this day is special to you in many
Yeah.
ways than one.
And my phone is blowing up because
I
people are
know.
like, where are you? And
I
I'm
know.
like, I'm coming. But I thank you for joining us on this platform today. I want to bring Kia back on because she has something that we hold as a memory in
I
our
know, you
home.
know.
Ah!
So when Alexia mother passed,
Oh my gosh.
one of our giveaways was a candle that has her slogan on it. Y'all done seen me say it. I done posted it and talked about it, and it's a real thing. Omega says you're a big girl now. So Alexia, talk to us about why today is important to you because you are a big girl now.
Oh, today is actually so my reason why today is important has shifted a little again throughout this journey. The day is important to me now because of you, because of Kia G, because of Dr. Tiffany and Arlinda, because of Latoya and Kenyatta, because of all the amazing people that have showed up today in this live, but even also those who showed up in the comments. And so I didn't realize how important it was until about 3 weeks ago. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't realize. I didn't give enough emphasis to the importance of those people who have been impacted by your loved ones until I got this beautiful gift from a really good friend of mine, Chantel, who we grew up together, and T knows her too. I wait till y'all see the picture that I'm gonna post. It's got T in it as well from a family trip. She sent
Don't
me.
do too much.
Yeah, I'm
Don't do
doing
too
it.
much.
I will.
Do too much. Do too much.
Right. Thank you, Kia. It was a beautiful angel, and she was just like, I'm thinking about you because this month was also marked 5 years since my mom passed away. So she
Mm-hmm.
passed away August 1st, 2018. And so at the end of this, I started seeing, at the end of this month, I'm seeing all the memories pop up. And so the reason why this day is important to me is because it's important to you. And it's important to you because your loved ones affected our loved ones affected so many people, and we love them and we shared them, but there's other people who are actually grieving because of their connection. And I just want to make sure that they know that you can miss my mom, You don't have
Yes.
to miss my mom
Yes.
like I miss my mom. You can miss
Oh, I love
Kia's
that.
grandmom and her mom like she miss them. You
Yes.
can miss T's bestest in the world, Peaches.
Yes.
You can miss her like you better miss my Aunt Pee Wee and Mama Uncle Harrison.
Yeah.
And you better miss Tasha.
Yeah.
Like you gotta miss them. You better miss my
Yeah.
grandma Marion because
Yes.
you have
That
to.
she was the Atari queen, honey.
So that's why it's important to me
Yeah.
because it's important to you. And so I feel like you care enough to love my loved one. And so we should be able to share this day together.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, thank you for that. Listen, I picked out a hand-picked question for you.
Got you.
Grief often intersects with other aspects of life, work, and relationships.
Oh, you wrote this one just for us.
You are a business owner in several different daggone jobs. How have you managed these intersections and or created / maintained a sense of balance? I gotta do her slashes.
Right.
She needs oars and slashes.
Oars
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that.
The intersectionality of life and death.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm also a doula. And so I support expecting BIPOC birthing people, pregnant, postpartum, and compassion for the loss of a child or significant loved one, which T has been instrumental in the launch and the ongoing education and awareness of it. And so what I've learned from that intersectionality is oftentimes if you start on one side of the spectrum, right? So if you start in with the birth, oftentimes you're usually around for people's deaths. And I didn't realize how I've literally been present for the three most important people in my life. My dad, as far as that parenting side of it, my dad, my grandma, my mom, I was around for all of their transitions in some capacity. And so now here I am years later, a doula who serves pregnant during that labor and delivery, which is near death. And then also postpartum. And so I was born a premature baby and we ain't gonna talk about why, because, Lord rest her soul, everybody does things.
Don't do that to my cousin.
But let's just say certain substances were not up for, negotiation to.
Yep, we get it.
And that's okay, because some of us might have been crack babies too. So we all right.
I'm thriving. Look, I'm all here. So I started to see where these connections were made. And then now I'm meeting people like, again, in Kia's line of work, when she talks about, and I'll let you share your story, but if I could, just when Kia was talking about what informed her decision to become a social worker, and how so many times when you hear it, it's usually from a place of like degradation and like, oh, because I had this horrible experience. But she was actually able to share the joy that blessed her to move in that journey. Your transition of that intersection into the pain and the trauma that you experience and how turning that into laughter for someone else. I think these intersections happen for all of us. And if we are fortunate enough to just kind of lean into them, God will reveal where it is. And I've learned so much over this year about what it means to be a compassionate individual. And I'm holding myself more accountable to what that looks like in so many spaces. So I am seeing how important it is to be inclusive in your work. I'm learning the power of creating a space where people can feel like they're alive, right? So I'm going to say that for me is where that intersection happened. And so the balance for me is not taking on the pressure of everybody else's burdens and what is joyous. I want to be more in the moment. So it's learning to balance. I want to be more in the moment. I'm listening to everyone and how they're remembering their loved ones. And it's giving me, great gladness to know that the legacies just continue to live on through the things that we do. And I want to make them proud because they were people who everybody could come to, could talk to, like, never turned anybody away, around, or none of that. So that's what I want my legacy to be.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's like drop mic.
Yeah. So you have talked about a whole bunch of people. Right. And so what would you want us to know about that collection of people that you mentioned today? What do
Wow.
you want the world to know? I already know them. What do
Right.
you want the world to know about those people or about the journey of grief?
Yeah.
Mm.
I remember my grief therapist saying that grief is the price we pay for love.
Mm.
There's no truer words, and it is. Within a 8 to 9 year time frame, I think I lost my dad, my grandma, and my mom. Again, like I said,
Yeah.
all the ones that I was around for.
Mm.
But what I think collectively, what I would want everyone to know is that they were, in their own ways, three of the most spiritual and giving people I've ever known.
Mm,
Most of their circle was too. And
yeah.
so I learned everything that I can think of about selflessness and giving, if you will, from them. So that's what I mean when I say too, I had to really do some reflection over the last year, 6 months really, and just think about discernment and wisdom and how God really wants me to focus on just be present. Be
Yeah.
present. And so that's what I take for them. So even though they transition on, they lived the hell out of life, as
That
Yes.
is
as
right.
Reverend Miles would say. They
Right.
lived the hell out of life. And so I want that for myself. So I want you to know about them that, you know, Frank was a mechanic. He
Ooh.
was not going to always fix the car right, but something
He don't do Frank like that because he fixed it till you got to come back. Till you had to come back with a
maybe,
little
you know
extra
what?
money.
That could have been, you know, you're right. He could have been a business. That could have been his
That
business
could have
model.
been.
And we had a lot of soda money because of
Yeah.
Frank and his shop. So don't do that.
Okay, you're right. My bad.
Not a lot of
Don't do that.
Marion was an LPN. She was quiet as a
Oh.
church mouse. Her favorite brother, yes, absolutely, Harrison Clark, Benjamin Clark. She was
My
actually about
granddaddy.
that little brother of hers. And she was an extravagant giver. And Omega, like, it's tea. Like, that's the best I can
Oh,
give
wow.
you.
That's my
If,
twin.
if
Wow.
anybody would have ever gave her a microphone, or she would have realized how to, it was, yeah, that was it.
Oh,
And
boy.
so
Oh, boy.
I'm thankful that I feel like now this is what I will say as one last piece is I'm thankful that as all of them transitioned, I now see who God placed to help carry on that legacy for them.
Mm.
Whether it was people I knew
Mhm.
my whole life or new people that came in, I
Mm.
see like, oh, wow, she reminds me so, wow. And so I'm very thankful for villages, for communities that we don't have to share blood because we share a bond beyond just that piece.
We appreciate that. So I'm gonna do while we bring in. I want to bring everybody back. I want to bring everybody back real quick, and I know some folks have to go. I know people at the park waiting on me, but they're gonna be all right.
That's okay.
Yeah,
This is
they'll
very
be all
nice.
right.
This is
But
very
I just so if
necessary.
everybody can go on mute. If everybody can go on mute, we got the Brady Bunch screen.
We do. That's what I was saying.
There's a
The Brady
lady.
Bunch
Da-da-da,
screen.
lady. So listen, we want to just say thank you for everybody
Thank
that
you.
tuned in, that signed on with us today. And I want us to give us all the opportunity to say something to the folks that's listening before we bring up the founder and the lady that brought this all together for us. What tips, if you have any? A lot of us dropped gems throughout this conversation,
Yes.
but we wanted to leave a space in case somebody wanted to add some extra tips for folks. Now is your time to do that.
Right.
I wanted to add a little
Who
something
watching Steve
extra.
Harvey? Somebody watching Steve Harvey.
And then after Arlen,
This is Latoya, and I wanted to add a little something extra. As I was saying, I think I went straight from denial to anger. What I wanted to say is, even though you're angry, try to not let it consume you. Once it begins to consume you, sometimes others around you suffer from it. If you can't, get past the anger, seek help for it. And then those that are maybe around someone that is angry and you're suffering because of it, just be there, recognize it for what it is, be there for that person and try to get them some help.
Thank you so
That's
much.
us.
That was I'm so glad she spoke on. I guess you're up next. Look, look, you stay ready, Twin. Just stay ready, right? All right, all right. So everyone,
Anybody else? Thank
yes,
you for that,
yes.
Latoya.
We have
Yeah.
Arlinda
Arlinda.
put her finger
Oh,
up. I'm glad Latoya spoke on anger. And Miss Arlinda, you want to share a tip?
You on mute?
We can't
Oh, we
hear you.
can't hear you. No, she's not on mute. I think she's having technical difficulties.
Okay,
Arlinda, we can't hear you.
oh,
that's okay.
There you go. Is that you talking?
no, this Corona.
All right,
Oh,
Karana, we'll move on to Karana. Karana, anything you want to share with us besides you are like one of the most fantastical, yeah, kudos to you.
No, I just wanted to also add another um what would I call it? I guess if you want to call it like a tip that even helped me.
Well,
Um,
I call them gems or
okay,
nuggets. So,
gems. Yeah, I like gems, little golden nuggets.
yes.
Yeah. Sometimes when you feel so depressed, it's good to just keep an eye on it because when you're depressed, you become less active, less engaged,
hmm.
and that sometimes decrease the window for anything like rewarding to get the positive because you have a tendency to just withdraw out. But sometimes it's good to even just do it anyway. We call that behavior activation, meaning that we're going to intentionally do this behavior because we know when we engage in it that our mood will shift. It's hard for us to be in two emotions at once. So when you're grieving, yes, you're going to need those alone times. You're going to have those times where you just don't want to be bothered, and it's okay to be sad. But then I believe someone said you want to keep a good pulse on it. You want to kind of decrease the duration of that depression because sometimes you can find yourself going into even a darker, deeper hole. So if you have a good support, um, and you just want to like just quicken your mood, sometimes it's good to just kind of activate that behavior and then that mood that you want will follow. And then the last thing is give yourself permission to know that your support system may switch and change along with
Hmm.
it's not going to always look the same. It may not be from the same person. I usually like to do texts because I feel like talking in the line of work, I'm sometimes exhausted. But when I actually lost my mom and someone, oh, I found personal space. Like someone joining me was just invaluable. I had everyone like on a schedule. Like the neighbor couldn't even come over to give a card. Like everybody was just, scheduled in because I know I'm going to probably go back into my shell, but right now I just need the presence of someone's laugh, their energy, their vibe, their spirit. So just be kind to yourself during that process.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Alexia, I knew you wanted to jump in real quick before you have to go.
I just put it in the chat.
Yes.
I love what on the comments. I hope I put in the right one. But
Arlinda,
I
You
love
she
what
did.
you
said, don't forget
said
about the kids.
about just managing yourself. And I know one of the things is good to just kind of have something to hold on to, whether it's a memory. A scripture for me was Isaiah 61:3. I hope I spelled Isaiah right. But it was just a reminder to even look for the light through the darkness. So when it talks about God will crown your beauty for ashes, and make us oaks of righteousness for the planting of his glory, it was just a reminder to me to look for the light. Just look for the light because it
Yes.
will come. It may not come as soon, but it will come.
I love that. I love that.
Well, listen, speaking of the light coming, I have to bring on, first of all, let me play her song real loud for her. Can y'all hear
What
my
song?
song?
What song?
Can y'all hear my song?
Song.
Y'all don't hear it? You don't hear my song?
Wow, a little bit. We can hear it a little bit. Mary, Mary, it's the God
Yeah,
in
because
me.
that's what she wanted me to play, but it's being funky. But we're gonna say it's the God in
In
me.
me. We
Ah.
need justice.
Listen, this is the song we don't try to change our soundtrack. Hey, listen, I need everybody that's still here. I need a standing ovation right now. Team Nosy, I need y'all to help me bring on the lady of the hour. with the S that pulled all this together. Miss Kenyatta. Kenyatta, where you at?
Yes.
Come
I'm
on, sis.
right
Hey,
here.
hey,
I'm
hey.
right here. Am
Want
I
to get like me? The people want to get like me because it's the God in me. Slide it in.
am
It's
I
the
coming
God
through
in
nice and
me.
clear? Am I coming through nice and clear?
Yes.
Yes. Can
All
everybody
right.
go on mute for me while we give
We got
Kenyatta the
Justin
stage?
moving.
Yes, thank you. So I know that we are really close to time, and so I want to say thank you to everyone.
You
Susie,
got a feedback, Kenyatta.
oh no. Okay. What should I do?
There you go. You better.
I'm here.
Okay, I want to say thank you to everyone, to each and every one of you, whether you are a guest or whether you are a part of the lineup today. I know it took a lot of resiliency, to push through your own personal grief that you're going through right now. And I know you're on your way to the balloon release. I want to say, Kia, thank you so much for jumping in. I saw that resiliency in you when we were having the technical difficulties this earlier in the broadcast. I also want to just let you all know that the video that we were trying to see, that was my introduction to this program. And I did drop that video on my page on Facebook. I want to say thank you to Justice J, to Reverend Leland Core, to Corona. I want to say thank you to the 7 Remembrance ambassadors who took the time to share with us about their loved ones. And I want to just highlight that when the Remembrance ambassadors had an opportunity to talk about their loved ones, all of them absolutely lit up. So in addition to what Alexia was saying about giving people space and permission to miss your loved ones, give them space and opportunity to talk about their loved ones. And there are 3 things I want to leave you with before I go this evening. The first thing is to continue to show up for your grieving friends. Be there. If you can't drive over to see them, call them. If you can't call them, pick up the phone and text. If it's just a heart text, let them know that you're there for them, right? If you can't do that, put a note in the freaking bottle, put it in an ocean, and let the note get to them. But be there for your friends. Go through this journey with them. Okay, for my individuals that have lost someone, my grief ambassadors, continue doing what you are doing. Do not abandon their spirit. When you stop talking about your loved one, it is as if they are truly, truly gone. When you stop talking about your loved one, the people in your life will, guess what? Stop talking about your loved one. You need to keep their spirit alive by talking about them, remembering them, finding ways to honor their legacy. And the third thing that I want to leave you with is that just like with the heart of Miss B, profound and powerful things can emerge after grief, right? If it wasn't for the fact that I lost my mom and had to find a way to channel that grief into something bigger than me, into something powerful, something that will always let me remember her, there would not be the heart of Miss B. I would not know Key. I would not know Corona. I would not know anybody. Okay, I wouldn't need to. I was happy in my little other life, but because I lost my mom and I need to find a way to stay connected with her to get through the grief. This is something powerful. The heart of Miss B, this not for profit that has emerged. So I just leave you all with that. And I want to say thank you again for participating in this first annual Day of Reflection and Remembrance. Please follow me on @the Heart of Miss B. Please download my Grief Journal app. And I look forward to continuing this conversation about grief. Have a great night.
Listen, Kenyatta, we thank you so much for this conversation that you've had with us today. On behalf of all of us, let me take me out of solo so we can all come on to say thank you. Thank you for this platform.
Thank you,
Thank
Kenyatta.
you for allowing us just to be.
Thank you.
We thank you. And so, folks, we are out of here. Can you hear me? Y'all can hear me? Oh, okay. I'm about to say, I don't know what's going on, but I'm here. Thank you so much, Kenyatta, for the platform of allowing myself as well as my wife to host such an amazing event. We are thankful and honored in this moment. Thank you to everybody that has participated, all of the ambassadors. Thank you to Reverend Leveland. Thank you for Justice J. Thank you for Miss Karana, who came and shared so much insight with us. Thank you for those that watched and that found us. Okay.
Yes,
Shout out to the
thank you.
nosies that found us
Thank
on
you.
YouTube. We appreciate you and we apologize for the delays, but it's a live event and the room shook the way that it was supposed to shake. So
Absolutely.
until next time, folks, make sure you connect everywhere you can with the Heart of Miss B. Make sure you download the journals. Make sure you purchase the books. Make sure you do everything that you can so that we can keep the world turning as we all continue to heal from grief.
Yes.
Once again, thank you again. Peace, love, and hair grease. We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you next year.
Bye.